Now we're going to kick off, as you would expect, with day one, and it is the first race at 1:30 on Tuesday. Hopefully, if everybody could please touch a bit of wood, hopefully the 2020 Cheltenham Festival will go ahead, and the first race is the Supreme Novice Hurdle. And at the moment, with Bet Victor, Envoy Alen, who's unlikely to run, but it is non-runner no bet, is the 2-1 favourite. Shishkin is 9-4, Asterior Forlange is 4-1, Abracadabra is 9-2. Fiddler on the Roof 6-1, Chantry House 8-1, Sporting John 8-1, Captain Guinness 12-1, and Edward Stone 14-1. Mikey Fogarty, we're going to start with you here because it's an intriguing Supreme Novice Hurdle. Obviously, Willie. Was that you?
No, it wasn't me.
It's an intriguing Supreme Novice Hurdle. Obviously, Willie Mullins, as ever, holds the key to the race. He's got Asterior Forlange. What are your thoughts?
What are we on the Supreme Novice? I tipped last night. I rode him in Thurles on heavy ground in a school and bumper in, I'd say, November, December, and I just think he'll go for this race. He'll definitely stay. He'll go on any ground, a little bit like Champagne Fever, and at 4-1, he'll give you a bit of a run for your money at the back of the last.
Is he slow?
Not quick and not slow, and maybe you don't need a quick horse, bar it's a special one to win a Supreme Novice. So, look, what is Abracadabra's probably a bit quicker. Siskin looks a bit more pace, but I'm just going to stick with him because I feel he's straightforward ride. He can sit third or fourth. He's not going to be keen. He can make the running, and he's tough, and he'll get to the top of the hill. Whether he'll win it, I don't know, but he'll definitely be one that's, whatever beats him, I think, will win it.
Dave, you ride out in Willie's a couple of mornings a week. Have you ever sat on Asterior Forlange?
No, not since I've got the father anytime recent anyway. I didn't know his name at the time. I'd be with Mikey, but I think he'd have a better chance in the Ballymore, even though he's looking like he's going to run in this race. And, the owners are very lucky. They've got a massive bunch of novices. They've Shishkin, Asterior Forlange, and the big getaway. I thought if they split the three of them up, that'd be nearly a Cheltenham treble if you wanted. But that's not seeming to be the way they're going to go. And I think I'd stick with Abracadabra. I think you do need a bit of speed. Gordon Elliott has obviously left him fresh for the race, and that's the way I'd be going. He wanted with a speedy horse in Lebac, whatever. But I think he's going, yeah.
Okay, so it's Abracadabra for David Mullins. Don, Shishkin is a horse that looks like he has loads of speed. Were you impressed at Huntington?
I thought he did it well, all right, but I don't think it was a great race. I think the horse that finished second underperformed, and look, you could have called him as the winner from a long way out, and he's a high-profile horse. As David says, he's got the Gold Cup winning colours as well. But no, he was high profile and fashionable before the Huntington race, and he just confirmed it, and they tightened him up again. I just think he's very short for what he's done. As opposed to Asterior Forlange, like what he did the last day, he was up on the outside of easy work. He jumped to his right a little bit, not as bad as he had been at Naas, but he still jumped a wee bit to his right, give away a little bit of ground, and still coming around the home turn. Like the engine that he showed to pick up and go on around the home turn at Leopardstown, that was really impressive. And I was, like David, I was thinking Ballymore over 2.5, that'd be his race. I think Willie Mullins thought he was a 3-miler. But it's significant that they're running him, or it looks like they're going to run him here now instead of the Ballymore, because, yeah, like the big getaway, looks like he's the Ballymore horse for both the Donnellys and for Willie Mullins. And then Asterior Forlange, do you drop him down and trip and take on Shishkin? But it was similar to Champagne Fever a few years ago. He looked like a 2.5 miler and he dropped down and won the Supreme. So, and especially if the ground comes up soft. Abracadabra is a very pacey horse. I'd be a bit worried about him on soft ground. And I wouldn't forget about Captain Guinness, even though the form of his Andy Dufresne run is not working out as well as you would have hoped. He was very keen that day. If he settles a wee bit better, he could go a bit better. But I think just in your guts, Asterior Forlange, he has it all. He has the engine and he's robust, and he'll probably improve again. That was only his third run over hurdles the last day. So yeah, I think he's the one they have to beat. Okay, so Don is an Asterion fan. Diarmuid, it looks like it's a decent renewal of the Supreme. There's obviously no absolute superstar so far that we know of. 9-4 Shishkin, do you think that's too short?
No, I think you have to take that on all day long. I mean, Nicky Henderson now has had, 32 runners in the last 20 years in this race. And he's had one winner.
Somebody's done his homework.
And, you know, like, as in, he's had one winner in the Ballymore from 17 runners and one winner in the Albert Bartlett from 17 runners. And, like, the simplicity of it is that Nicky Henderson leaves his novices with plenty to improve upon as they go on. He's a superb trainer. Obviously, he's one of the best there's ever been. But his novice hurdlers aren't trained for races like this. They're trained long term. So Shishkin, like Sprinter Sacker was beaten in this race. You know, there's an awful lot of very good horses. The only 3 novices that he's had win at the Cheltenham Festival novice hurdlers in the last 20 years, you're talking Altior, you're talking Simon Sig, and Bobsworth. 3 machines. So at 9-4, you're backing whether Shishkin could be a machine or not, really, in my opinion. Because so many good novices from that yard haven't managed to win at the Cheltenham Festival. So at 9-4, I think you have to be a very forgiving punter to kind of forgive Nicky Henderson for not training his horses the way that maybe other trainers here do. He trains them long term. You know, he's a terrific trainer, obviously. But I'd agree with Don. I think the 2 I've landed on are the 2 that we mentioned so far. I think it's between Abacadabras and Assyrian Phalange. I can't have the English horses, really. And Abacadabras, for me, he's unbelievably quick. But I think the soft ground, which we are going to have now, really, is going to blunt him. So I think just by the process of elimination, Assyrian Phalange, it's the wrong price for him to be double what Shishkin is, and I think he is the better.
Okay, interesting. Very good stats, Dermot. Very impressed. Well done. It's a good start to the night.
Now for the night.
Good start tonight, putting the rest of the panel to absolute shame with your stats. Dean.
Yeah.
Obviously, Dermot has spoken about Nicky Henderson's poor record with novices. But is there a chance that this could be an exceptional horse?
Yeah, obviously there's a chance, and they've been very, very keen on this horse for a while. He's only justified what they've been saying about this animal on the racetrack. You have to take it on at the price, though. I don't think anyone wants to be betting 9-4 in a Supreme Novice, and the stats with how he's performed with his previous ones, a freak in Altior managed to win a Supreme, but that is a freak of a horse. So if we got one here, I'm not sure. Remember, Altior wasn't even favourite that year. I think Min was the favourite in that Supreme. And that was based on, I think, Nicky not having such a great record in that race. I think that all played a part in it. I think everyone's underestimating the English horse, which is Fiddler on the Roof. And if they get soft ground there, which looks likely right now, it can change a lot very quickly at Cheltenham. But if they do get the soft ground, he's an animal that's just going to devour the hill. What he did in the Tolworth has been crabbed because Jeremy's Flame, you know, not the highest rated animal, Gavin Cromwell's mare, but she's lovely. And she was a distance back, and they rode her, I thought, to get place money in that race, and which they got, which they wanted, a bit of black tie, so it's a great run. But Fiddle on the Roof has just turned inside out in the last couple of runs. I thought 6-1 was a fascinating animal for the race. When Abracadabras, if you watch back the bumper last year, I didn't think it went through with his effort. It was a bit green in the contest, to be honest, but obviously that will be out of the horse now. But I don't think the stride is one that's going to lend itself to coming up the hill. It's a very quick horse. Asterian Phalange, I'm not a big fan of Easy Game or Mount Leinster, who beat the last time. I like just dismiss them. Could be anything. It's interesting to hear the 2 lads talk about him not like he's a superstar, and I thought they might be waxing lyrical about him. So I'm even more confident that Fiddle on the Roof is the bet in the race. Captain Guinness is interesting, could certainly improve, and at least it's one you take on a price. Sport and John won't go. Fiddle on the Roof is definitely my bet for the race.
Okay, Fiddler on the Roof for Dean. Sam, obviously the Supreme, it's a huge race for bookies. It sets the tone for the week. How short might Shishkin go off here?
I think you're as short as you're probably going to go. He's actually in our top 5 worst results. Wow. We laid a bit at 25s. The horse that he beat at Ben Pauling's was quite highly regarded. He drifted that day at Newbury. He'd unseated the time before that, and he won in the style of a really nice horse. And Nicky Henderson afterwards at Huntingdon, just the smile he gave, you don't see that too often from him. The horse himself looks like he'd be a fantastic chaser. That's the only thing I would say. I do think he's a typical Nicky Henderson long-term project, and anything he does this year was a bit of a bonus for an awful cliche. But yeah, 9-4 at the moment. I don't think he's going to go much shorter. I think he might even get a little bit bigger on the day. Opposition-wise, I'd love to have seen Sporting John go here. I'm a little bit disappointed they've not taken this option. I think he'd be really well suited to a Supreme, but they'll know a lot more than me.
Okay, so across the line then, who wins the Supreme Novice Hurdle? Don McLean?
On soft ground, Asterian Phalange, on better ground, Abacadabras.
Mikey?
The same, yeah. Asterian Phalange, yeah.
Dave?
Abacadabras.
Dermot?
The exact same as Don. Soft ground, Asterian, anything better. Abacadabras.
Sam?
Shishkin.
And Dean?
Yeah, soft ground, hopefully Fiddler on the Roof will win.
Moving on to the Racing Post Arkle, the second race on day 2, and your current 9-4 favourite, but you could get a little bit bigger thanks to Bet Victor tonight, is Notebook. Fakir Dadar is a 9-2, Cashback 11-2, Brewing Up a Storm 7-1, Rouge Vif 12-1, Esprit de Large 12-1, Global Citizen 12-1, Al Dancer 16-1, and Put the Kettle on 20-1, 25-1 bar. Right, Sam, what's this offer?
3-1. Top price I can find out there at the moment. We're going 3-1 for Notebook. Rachael Blackmore's a Bet Victor ambassador. We've actually got an offer at the moment you'll see on the Racehour Twitter page. If you don't have a Bet Victor account, sign up, bet 10, get 20, and you're going to get £10 free bet every time Rachael rides a winner at Cheltenham. This could cost us fortunes. She's got 15 to 16 really nice rides across the week. A few favourites in there. Notebook's probably one of the strongest.
Brilliant. And if somebody maybe doesn't have a Bet Victor account, they can come up to you at some stage tonight and you'll tell them
Point them in
how
the
to
right
do it.
direction. Yeah, check the Racehour Twitter account as well. The links will be going out on that. And get involved because we're going to boost quite a few of our rides tonight. So get stuck in. Existing customers welcome to join them as well. Just check that the price is there. If it's there, you can have it. If it's not, it's gone.
Brilliant. After your rousing performance in the Supreme Novice Hurdle, I'm going to let you go first, Dermot. This is another interesting race. Again, we just don't know how the Irish weigh up against the English. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, we've no clue. Absolutely none. I think this race is very interesting tactically. There's an awful lot of horses here that want to go from the front. You know, you've got Cashback, Notebook, Fakir, Global Citizen, Put the Kettle on. All those horses really do want to really press on with things. So I think this is going to be as stamina-laden Arkle we're probably going to see for quite a while. An awful lot of these horses want to get on. So my thoughts are that this could well end up being set up for something coming from behind and something that maybe stays a bit further. And I think Brewing Up a Storm is that. He's 7-1. He's won twice this season. First race at Carlisle has worked out very, very well. And he's kind of kicked on from there. Now, we haven't seen him since Christmas, so you obviously have to forgive that. But Ollie Murphy was on at the races yesterday, and he was just simply saying that that he's better off fresh. So that's just kind of one of those things where you just have to accept what the trainer says. I think too many of these horses want to go from the front.
Does he jump well enough, though? I thought a taunt, and he got it very low to the last 3 in a row.
He did definitely, but I think as well, I thought he ran a bit towards the end of that race, like he was running out of steam, and a lot of Ollie Murphy's horses at that time were completely out of their breath as well. You know, his yard just wasn't running well. The first day when he beat Goodbye Bobby, you got Midnight Shadow in third, and you got Global Citizen in fourth, and he jumped very well that day considering how much he drifted. Those horses just weren't right, so I'm just at the prices. I think with the Irish horses beating each other up all year, we don't really know where we stand with them and if a horse will come late. He looked about the winner in the Ballymore to me turning in last year. He just didn't quite see it out, so I think the extra little bit that he does stay will see him to good stead here, and I do think he'll be fine.
Dean, what do you like?
Yeah, I really like Brewing Up a Storm, but there is a horse in here that I think's a little bit forgotten about. Notebook's a bit short for me, especially the back hurdle form. I know Henry doesn't really train him that way around, so maybe the old Arkle stat of the best hurdler wins the Arkle might not apply to Notebook, and he looks very good. But there's a horse in here that's a little bit forgotten about. It did have the hurdle back form, albeit running disappointingly in the Supreme last year, and that's Al Dancer. And I know he's been beaten up a couple of times this year, but he did win at Cheltenham the first go round. And I just think Sam hasn't quite got it right on him the last couple of times. I think he would have beat Mr. Fisher with a more positive ride. If he had have done that, he wouldn't be 16-1. If you're looking for a flyer in the race who's certainly going to travel right there to the last, I think it's that one. And if Sam pushes the button a little bit earlier, 16-1 looks a very big price to me. Brewing Up the Storm ticks all the other boxes and will be my other bet in the race, but you can't let Al Dancer run at 16s.
Okay, so two votes for English novice chasers. Dean is going for Al Dancer, and Dermot is going for Brewing Up a Storm. Dave, if you could ride anything in this race, what would you like to ride? I presume Cashback, from a jockey's point of view, would be an interesting ride. He's likes to get on with things, doesn't hang about. Would he be the one you'd like to ride?
Yeah, I rode Cashback in a Grade 2 Novice Hurdle in Fairy House last year, and the speed we went was crazy. Ruby pulled up. Ruby beat me actually half a length. He was very free the same day. My horse, Ruby, came from off the pace and beat me. But he said, "How does he jump?" I said, "Yeah, he's top class. He probably does take a bit of a risk, but you want that." He said, "Yeah, he'll take some pegging in the Arkle next year."
Really? That was last Easter?
That was last Easter. And to be honest, he hasn't done anything too disappointing for me to stay away from him. He does everything you want in a chaser. I don't see any other horse coming on from their runs I don't see Notebook going to improve again. He is the favourite. I see Cashback going to improve again. He's a big, massive horse, still learning where his feet are, and a half a length. I don't think Cashback will be on the wrong side of Notebook again.
And he does actually stay. We've seen at Naas, he can go that pace, but he can sustain that gallop as well.
110% stays. He's just a huge, big stride. And the only reason he mightn't stay is if he's too free, but I don't see that with the pace they're going to go. And, he's a bit of an undersow, I think. He's just learning to come to himself.
Okay, nice praise indeed. A bit of an undersow. That's Cashback, 11-2 with Bet Victor. Mikey, I suppose you wouldn't mind going Cashback yourself, would you?
I don't fancy him at all. I don't think he'd stay all right, but around Naas it's not a staying. It's not a grade 1 stay. If the ground is soft, front runners in the stress, I think could be a bit like Petit Mouchoir and the
Calvados.
Yeah, could be a bit like that. Rachel's going to be pumped from the O'Learys and bounce out, and Walshy as well. They're going to go at it, and I feel, was it Gallant John Joe was 7 lengths off him?
No.
He was, yeah.
No.
He was. Last day he was 7 lengths off Cashback.
You're thinking of Mellon, no?
Mellon was behind John Joe.
Sorry.
Fifth.
But it's
John
not
Joe was third,
Naas form you're looking at. You're looking at Leberstown form. He's half a length off the favourite of the Arkle.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
Do I change seats
He's
there?
talking about him.
I agree with Dermot. Yeah, brewing up a storm. The Ballymore farm looks good. He stays 2-5. There's going to be no pressure on him.
Ballymore farm is terrible.
What do you mean?
City Island's gone back over hurdles.
Champions in second.
Champions in second.
He scraped home in Newbury one day.
Sure, what's Cashback bet?
He's half length off an open.
I know. I'd be.
Believe it or not, they're actually friends.
Look, I agree with Dermot. He knows his shit. That's off stuff there. He knows more than you.
I didn't disagree with that. I just
Look,
Jeez, you're easily swayed,
we're
Mikey.
not going to win everything over there, No, I don't fancy him, and like Fakir Duder, he's like Joseph. He has a knack of running the can run poor at Christmas and come back and just turn it around. I'd still going to stick with Brewing Up a Storm. I just think the rest, Notebook is going to be great, right? It's just ground soft, proper, everyone going at it. Will it fall into Brewing Up a Storm? Into him, I would be thinking the same. And I just don't. I'm not big fans of Notebook's form over hurdles isn't good enough. Neither is Cashback's. The rest, I don't even know the rest. I'll answer. Obviously, it bet. Put the kettle on, bet that, and that's not good enough for me. But I agree with last year's form. But that's why I'm sticking with Ollie Murphy. He gets horses fit, and if we get soft ground, then you need to be fit, and you need something that stays, and you don't need to be going at it too soon.
Okay, so after all that, it's brewing up a storm for Mikey, and he doesn't like Cashback at all. You a bit scared over there, Don?
Oh yeah.
You might have to step in at some stage. Which side are you on? So we've a few confident votes for brewing up a storm, Don.
No confidence for me in any. I think it's a fascinating race. It's going to be fascinating how it's run because, as the lad said, there's pace everywhere. At the same time, you don't want to burn it all up early, but in an Arkle you don't want to be too far off the pace. Generally, they don't come from too far back in an Arkle. You want to be just up in behind the pace, and you can see brewing up a storm, the race run to suit. Of course, I'd just be a bit worried. I know he's best fresh, and Ollie Murphy made that point during the week, but he hasn't run since November. It can't have been the plan to leave him off since November to Cheltenham. You have to think that they were going to run him somewhere in between, and he hasn't run, so that's just be a wee bit of a worry. And maybe his horses weren't right, and he left them off, and maybe that was the clever thing to do if the horses weren't right. Notebook he's the right favourite for the race. He's done everything. He's won all the right races. The Leopardstown race the last day, his jumping is superb. He's a 135 rated hurdler. He's way better over fences. As Dean said, it's normally the high rated hurdlers who go and win the Arkle, but this fella is a bit of an exception, and he's Henry de Bromhead, the horse who they usually improve for going over fences. So he's the right favourite, but I don't think he's invincible. I think Fakir Duderi's maybe a wee bit of a forgotten horse. If he runs here, he does have the option of the Marsh Chase as well. But the run the last day, he didn't have the run of the race. Jingle went off in front, and he kind of sat in behind, and Notebook got in behind Jingle, and then he got hampered a wee bit around the home turn. He still stayed on well. That was 2 miles on a furlong. It's a stiff 2 miles on a furlong at Leopardstown. Again, the soft ground, if it does come up soft, which it probably will, should suit him at Leopardstown. I think if he runs here, he might be a little bit overpriced at 6-1. I can see Cashback improving again. Like he was so keen the last day at Nace. I know it was Nace, Mikey, but he did see it out well. And the last day against Nottingham,
Jesus, don't say that too loud, Mikey. He'll kill you.
don't open that one again. The way that he stayed on, like Notebook took about a length off him at the second last fence, and he still came back at him and stayed on very well. That was just his third chase. He's going to improve again. To me, it's a no-bet race for me after all of that. I think it's a fascinating race. Maybe Fakir do Dairies if he's around a 6-1 or a 5-1 every run.
Come day 4, after sitting beside Mikey Fogarty for 2 hours, you'll be telling us horses are certainties on the Friday, so you will. You'll have turned inside out. There'll be no ifs or buts. But if you were pushed,
Fakir do Dairies.
Fakir do Dairies. And Mikey, your Cashback
If I had
fan?
to ride a horse, it'd be Notebook at a bit of value. It'd be brewing up a storm.
Okay. And Dave, your Cashback?
Cashback.
Jeremy brewing up a storm. Sam?
I'm staying loyal with Notebook.
Notebook. And Dean?
Yeah, I think Brewing Up Storm ticks all the boxes, but Al Dancer at 16 is way too big.
Al Dancer. So that was your very, very interesting, fascinating preview of the Racing Post Arkle, the second race on day 1. So moving on to the feature of the opening day, it is the Champion Hurdle. Now, on your sheets at the moment, Epatante is your 5-2 favourite. But Sam, obviously, I don't know if you heard, but Nicky Henderson released a statement to say that Epatante has been coughing. He doesn't think it's going to affect her prospects of running in the race, but he said it's obviously not ideal and he's keeping the public in the loop. But Epatante is big time on the drift, especially on Betfair. What price is she with Victor now, Sam?
We've just pushed her out to 7-2.
Okay,
So if you're not worried, you're going to get a bit more value. If you do want to look elsewhere, we put Benny Dijou back in the market at 5-2, just because of that news potentially. We're going to boost Honeysuckle. It's now 11-2. It's not running no bet, so if she does end up going to the mares, you'll get your money back 11-2. I know there's a couple of big fans of Honeysuckle on here that are going to eulogise all about her, so I'll let them get stuck in.
Okay, so 7-2 at the moment. Epatante is your favourite. Right, let's clear one thing up first, hopefully. We've got two men who work in Willie Mullins's. Right, lads, between you, and please don't kill each other. But where is Benny Dijou going to run? Mikey?
Oh, I'd say the Mayor's Hurdle.
Yeah. Dave?
I'd agree with that, yeah.
We get you agreeing. Wow. So we think she's going to go for the Mayor's Hurdle. Okay, so there you go. That's people that are in the yard. They're obviously listening to the vibe. So we'll talk about the Champion Hurdle, thinking that Benny Dijou is going to go for the Mayor's Hurdle. Dave, we'll start off with you here. Epatante at the moment is 7-2. She's on the drift, obviously. Coughing with horses, like you see them at home and stuff. Is it kind of relatively normal for horses to be coughing every so often, and sometimes there's not that much to it? It's just like us having a cold.
Yeah, some trainers and people read into it a lot and they get them scoped every day for a week and give them a course of antibiotics and stuff like that. I know if I told my father a horse was coughing, he'd just tell me to tell him to stop. You read into it what you want. You know, Binocular won a Champion Hurdle.
If it was someone else, you'd read into it. I'd back her again now after hearing that.
The more she coughs, the more you fancy her.
Yeah, would you?
So it's obviously, it's not like have either of you ridden winners that have coughed in the lead up to a race? Yeah.
No. Not really.
No. Okay.
No.
So it is.
What's the lead up? Like if you come back from a bit of work and you got a face full of sand or wood chip in your face and they're going like they're coughing that out. But if she's a snotty nose and her bloods are wrong, maybe that'd be a bit more serious. But not a couple of dry coughs. Like no.
Okay.
It could be
It'd be
anything.
like you getting up to go to the gym in the morning there and you just clearing out the lungs, like
Right.
a couple of barks. You'd be still fine, like you'd still be able to do
Well,
it.
that's debatable.
You'd be able to get the heart rate up to red zone.
Yeah. Fairly quickly as well. Yeah. So Dave, back to the.
You're a good old Nick, though.
I cannot take anything you say seriously.
It was last year you got married, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In a burst, yeah. in
Yeah.
fairness.
Yeah. New man now. Right, going back to the Champion Hurdle
Still
quickly.
married.
Dave,
Who
what wins it?
cares about the Champion Hurdle then?
Well, they care more about the Champion Hurdle than my love life anyway, that's for sure. Dave, what wins the Champion Hurdle?
None of them. Yeah, Darver Star actually. Darver Star. I think you'll probably find a bit bigger than 12-1, maybe.
Do you really fancy the Everstar?
I hate the rest of them.
Sure.
Epatante
some
maybe, but Honeysuckle, no, I think she'll go for the mares. Envy Allen would win it if he runs, but it doesn't look like it. Pentland Hills, I'd say his lungs are full of blood. He's got to the last twice and stopped. Silas Emery, hard to say. Sharjah, ground might be too soft for him. Super Sunday's he's ancient. Yeah, Darver Star's the only one left.
Jesus.
I actually rode him in a maiden hurdle. I think it could have been his first run over hurdles. Finished 6th or 7th. Kevin said he'll need the run. He should blow up. I think he got beat off a 104 after, but he's this big staying horse, and I just don't see any of the rest of them getting home even.
Right. Was the horse that you pointed at David there, Darver Star, Mikey?
Yeah.
Jesus, you fancy him as well?
Yeah, I was chatting to Johnny Moore today. I know Johnny, he'd be confident, like, anyway, you know, you take some.
Yeah, he does.
But, you know, he said he was 75% fit. I was saying, you know, holy Lord, you'll win it by 7 or 8 lengths, so. I hope he does.
By the time the champion hurdle comes along, he'll only be 50% fit the last time.
But Sir Gavin won it last year. It's going to be fit. I love horses hitting the line. Sure, he was the only oak to hit the line in Epsom. And look, yeah, it's couldn't Epitante. I don't like it really. I don't know English farm lads really, to be honest. So, and she got stuffed in the mare's hurdle last year. Honeysuckle go for whatever penalty. No, see the Emery will be thereabouts, and it's a funny race, yeah.
Funny race, a funny tip as well.
No, it's not funny. Not
That
one bit funny.
genuinely, you think Darver Star can win a champion hurdle?
Well, like Honeysuckle is 9-2, right? In another 2 strides after the line, he was in front, and yeah, I do.
He wasn't really given the ride to in it. If he was only 75% fit and he was probably 50-1, you're not going to line him up.
Is that not why he got so
out.
close though? No, because he was just ridden to play.
That's a fair
You
point.
can say that too. I won the Irish champion hurdle on Petit Mouchoir, and everyone said, sure, footpad was close beside him, behind him.
Yeah.
Like footpad was ridden about 20-25 lengths off me down the back, and everyone said he was useless. He went and bolted up in Arkles, like, you know. So it's, you take it whatever way you want, but he was gonna pass Honeysuckle.
Right, so it's 2 votes for Darver Star. Wasn't expecting that. Don?
Just one thing. What's Fusil Raffles?
Fusel Raffles.
Yeah. What happened to him? Like, he was brilliant juvenile last year.
Yeah, disaster.
We loved him last year.
Disaster
Yeah,
this
I
season.
told you. Loved him. He
I
was going
won't
to be
give
the
you
best
the
of these.
winner. I said he'll win, and he didn't make, but he won in Punchestown. Remember that?
Yeah.
So, but why did he pull up
Just
that?
been
Any
a
excuse?
disaster this season, Mike.
Right.
Disaster,
okay,
yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, things have gone. It's been a tale of woe so far this season.
That happens. We all have those. Yes. You know.
Don, incredibly, is it going to be 3 votes for Darver Star?
No, it's not. It's definitely a race that you could back 2 or 3 outsiders in it. Like, it's cut up desperately. It's you know, you say to a trainer, it's not a good champion hurdle. They say try and win one. But in the scale of champion hurdles, like we're missing Espoir d'Alain, just right, Saldier, Bouvardere, Classical Dream. They've all come out. Envoy probably won't go. Benny de Dieu looks like she's not going to go. Honeysuckle might run actually. Do we know if Honeysuckle's going to run or not?
Well, sure, like he's
He said he's
waiting.
leaving the decision, didn't he? Until
If
as
I
late
was
as
him,
possible.
I'd run.
They're keeping it as late as possible.
Well, like, I mean, obviously she's interesting. If the champion hurdle is over 2.5 miles, she'd win it for sure. Over 2 miles, she'd want soft ground. But if she runs, obviously she's going to be an early favourite. But look, Pentland Hills couldn't have him, and 5-year-olds. I know Espoir d'Alain was a 5-year-old last year. It's hard for them. Like, Catchett was the only 5-year-old before him since See You Then, and that was 85. So it's very hard for 5-year-olds. So that goes for Curse Sublime as well. Sharjah, I was hoping maybe the ground will get better for Sharjah, and he's a bit of an underrated horse because his last run, like we're slaves to a horse's last run. He was disappointed, but his previous run on good ground at Leopardstown was very, very good, and he's a classy horse. So maybe Sharjah, if the ground isn't too soft for him. But Call Me Lord comes into it. I mean, I know you're talking about Call Me Lord winning the champion hurdle. How's that going to happen? But it could, especially if the ground comes up soft. He stayed on well the last day at Cheltenham. He was disappointing the last time, but the time before that he stayed on well. You know, even Ballyandy had a big price. I think you need to be looking down the list because the top of the list, they're all underpriced, I think.
Jesus, right. So if I was pushing you, which I am, Sharjah.
I'd say Call Me Lord on soft ground.
Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah.
So 2 votes for Darver Star, 1 for Call Me Lord. Diarmuid, why does everybody hate Epitome?
I don't think anyone hates Epitome. I think the problem with the champion hurdle this year is that you're comparing. I mean, the form gauges are Ballyandy over in England and Petit Mouchoir over here. You know, you're comparing them two really as for what the horses have been beating all year. So if Petit Mouchoir was taking on Ballyandy tomorrow, I think I'd back Petit Mouchoir to win that race. So like Epatante did that really well at Christmas, but I don't know. Like none of that screams to me as being very strong form. But again, it's a champion hurdle too. She could well go on and win it, but a 5-2.
Well, no, she's 7-2 now.
7-2 even, sorry. But like, you know, you're backing her at that even still, like it's just too short for a champion hurdle for a horse that I know they're blaming the jabs last year on why she didn't run well there, but like she still blew up in the Mayor's Novice, and like you're backing a horse that didn't win a Mayor's Novice to win a champion hurdle.
Yeah, but if you take that run out of it, she'd be unbeaten, and we'd be saying she could be an absolute superstar.
I get that completely, but again, like the form of winning that is no different than what Sharjah beating Petit Mouchoir easily at Christmas.
But she could be getting better as well.
There's no doubt.
I just think I've read every preview of the champion hurdle. I've seen preview nights. I've done a couple of preview nights, and not one person has tipped Epatante.
No, but like she has a favourite's chance, and you know she could win it. She has the form to win it this year. She would, going into a normal year, she would be running in the mares now. She wouldn't be in this race. Espardal and Bouverdaire would be in this race, or at least she'd be their third string. But this is where we are with this race. Honeysuckle, I think people are being way too harsh on the fact that she really wanted company up that running. And I think as well, like that was her first time ever going left-handed and her first time ever running at a championship pace like that. So if she did turn up, she's done a lot more than Epatante, in my opinion. And I think she'd be favourite if she did run, but I'd be confident she'd beat Benny anyway in the mare. So wherever she goes, she goes. But Super Sunday for me, I know he's old, he's 10 years old, but this is where we are with this race. He's still a horse that can run to 158, 59, 60. Him and Sharjah are the two, but I think the ground might be gone for Sharjah. So Super Sunday is the one that has run to those high figures, is capable of running to those high figures, and if he does that, I think that could be good enough to win this.
Okay, so Super Sunday. We'll come to the Mayor's Hurdle later, where you can eulogise about Honeysuckle. Dean, is it? Do you have to look beyond the top end of the market here?
Yeah, you have to, especially with the news today. Even Epatante was a bad price at 5-2. 7-2 with a cough still doesn't sound too exciting for me. I think Devon makes the right points about where Epatante would stand in the pecking order. All right, she's improved and she's gone and put up a performance that puts her in the picture. I don't think it puts her top of the market. I'd love Honeysuckle to run here because I'd definitely back her. You know what the Racehour is like. We're a fan club, so she would be our pick for sure. Sharjah's interested in one that can run to a number that wins a champion hurdle. The last day is too disappointing to get involved, I think. Decent ground will need to come. Super Sunday is absolutely the bet at these prices. Has to be the bet. I think since won the Coral in 2017's running, check the notes here, 14 grade ones, first and second and 11 of them. This is a class animal who would have just needed the run the last day. And as far as I know, Robbie Power and Jesse are absolutely delighted with that run. All roads back to a champion hurdle, not a stayers, not messing with trips. This is the worst champion hurdle you'll ever see, and Super Sunday is the best horse in the race. So I think it's a great price, 12-1.
Lovely. And for you, Sam?
I'm just determined to take on Epatante. She's got to defy this awful stat. Only one winner from the last 21 of that Christmas hurdle have won the champion hurdle that have tried it. I mean, it's just not a race you want to be winning.
Is that Faheen?
Yeah, probably right. So Ballyandy, when he's getting shouts and he suddenly looks value at 14s, as the guys have said, it looks a bad race. We're still 11-2 on Honeysuckle, which I think is a non-runner, no bet each way. It's an absolute steal.
You want that on side.
Okay, so let's go across the line for the champion hurdle selections. I'm going to start, and I fancy Epatante. Dean?
Honey if she runs, but Super Sunday.
Sam?
Oh, Ballyandy each way.
Dermot?
Super Sunday.
David?
Darver Star each way.
Mikey?
Darver Star each way.
And Don?
Interesting on Honeysuckle. She's 11-2 now with the run, right? If she's declared a runner, she'll definitely be shorter than 11-2.
Oh,
That's
miles,
for sure.
yeah, miles.
You have to get it on
I mean, that's
side,
bizarre,
I
isn't
think,
it?
yeah.
She's an 11-2 shot with the run. If she doesn't run, you get your money back. If she runs, she's going to be shorter than 11-2.
Yeah.
That's the bet.
Well, obviously factored into the price is the fact that they don't think she's going to run here.
But it's not factored into the price. Because if
Yeah,
she
because
runs,
it's not
No, I know. I'm just
it's a void bet
saying.
if she doesn't run.
I agree. Yeah. I agree.
So that's the bet. 11-2 Honeysuckle with the run.
Okay, and before we leave the champion hurdle, if Honeysuckle runs in the champion hurdle, hands up who thinks she'd win the champion hurdle. Okay, so four of the panel think that Honeysuckle would win the champion hurdle now. we don't have an individual slide for the other races on the card, but if you see behind us here, we've got the current prices for the Mayor's Hurdle. 8 to 11 Benny to Do, 6 to 4 Honeysuckle, 7 to 1 Stormy Ireland, 8 to 1 Roxana. This could potentially be the clash of the festival in the Mayor's Hurdle. And Dermot, I know you're the founding member of the Honeysuckle fan club. Just tell everybody here why you love her so much and why you think she would beat Benny to Do.
Benny to Do is a serious mare, and I'm not taking a single ounce away from her. She's obviously absolutely class. I just think that we suffer a lot in horse racing, as Don alluded to there a while ago, recency bias. So she put up a serious performance at Gorham Park. In my opinion, there's no fundamental difference to what Honeysuckle did to the other two, to the nearly the exact same horses at Fairyhouse. Honeysuckle absolutely hammered them. She then turned up over 2 miles, which is probably a bit short of her optimum. But again, she was learning her way through that. She's still a very young mare. And for her to win, now Darva Star probably might have got up, but I thought she was just a bit lonely in front more than anything. And her form stacks up with Benny's. Now, Benny could go and beat her in the day. Benny is priced to do so. But I think Honeysuckle doesn't get the respect that she deserves. She would have won that Mayor's Novice doing handstands last year. She proved that afterwards when she absolutely slammed Eglantine de Soy at Fairyhouse. She's stepped out of that division this year, and she's just gone from strength to strength. She's won everything all around her. And that performance at Fairyhouse is every which way as good as what Benny did at Gorham Park. And I think they should be priced a bit closer than they are.
You think they should almost be flipped the other way around? Do you think Honeysuckle should be favoured?
No, I think based on the fact that Benny is the defending champion that she should, but I just think that it should be a lot closer.
Mikey, how good is Benny to Do?
Brilliant. Best. One of the best horses in training, I'd say. I wouldn't fancy her. Look, I'm not going to give you one. Like, I just be sure about one decision if I had to make. If I was to ride anything in the game, I would no way would I ride Honeysuckle against Benny to Do. I think she'll just win. And I loved her run in Gorn over 3 mile in heavy ground, first run to do that, first run in Willys, you know. And then she has a run this year. She was a little bit fresh last year. Going into it, she ran a bit fresh and keen and jumped a bit big, and she paid the price for it. But maybe I'm being biased. I just look at the mare of Honeysuckle, bet Darva Star by half a length. You know, wanted the line.
Do you think Darva Star win a champion hurdle?
No, but I'm saying each way squeak. Like, you know, I feel that Benny to Do would win the champion hurdle as well. Yeah. I wasn't really that impressed with Honeysuckle in Epsom, to be honest. I didn't like Petit Mouchoir, Darva Star, all out, battered. I didn't see her staying that well. Like, obviously, Dermot's right, savage form last year, but regards, if I was Henry and Mr. Alexander, I'd be going to the champion hurdle. Really.
And swerving Benny to Do?
I'd swerve her with anything, bar maybe Envoy Allen. That'd be, it's the only one.
David, have you ever sat on Benny to Do?
Yeah, 1-2 on her. Over fences. She's an absolute aeroplane. What she done in Gorn, first run back. Willies all blew up at Christmas. They all blew out at Christmas. They ran, I'd say, 2 stone below themselves at Christmas, some of them. And for her to do that on bottomless ground in Gorn, over 3 mile, you know, Willies only improve at runs. Honeysuckle, she was gunned for the first day, not the first day, the second day. You don't bounce out your good mare in November and send her from the front and send her 10 clear, jumping the second last in Fairyhouse, and expect to have a mare left at the end of the season. She'd be an iron horse if she stays winning.
She's a great mind though, Honeysuckle, I think.
She'd want it.
Yeah, like, you know, that's the only thing that will help her.
I'd
be with you. I'd be shocked.
Is Benny to Do the most talented horse in Willie's yard?
No, fine.
Is she the best winner, like, for the week? Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
She's the best. Like, if that gets bet, like, you know, obviously everything gets bet, but we'd be shocked. Like,
shocked, yeah. The whole yard would be shocked.
I don't know. I never know on rides Ronnie Dick, and obviously maybe the lads, but she goes around there like a fairy off.
Yeah. Don, if Honeysuckle and Benny to Do show up here, let's say softish ground, who wins?
I think Honeysuckle has a better chance of winning the champion hurdle than she does winning the Mayor's Hurdle. It's not that I don't think she'll win the Mayor's Hurdle. I think she'll have an easier task in a champion hurdle than the Mare's Hurdle against Benny the Dieu. I take the lad's point about her run the last day at Leopardstown, but I think she went and won a race going to the last, and whatever happened, like she just seemed to wander, lose concentration going to the last, and she landed it over as if she'd finished her race, and then she had to get going again. I think maybe ridden a bit more patiently might suit her a bit better, and that'll be easier behind a faster pace and a better race. I don't know. I like Benny the Dieu. What she did at Goran was phenomenal over 3 miles. And it was as much what Willie Mullins and Paul Townend, their reactions afterwards. Like they
Unbelievable. I've never seen Willie or Paul after a race be so positive. Like it was almost as if they were shocked at how good she was. Yeah.
And she's won a French champion hurdle over 3.25 miles, 3 miles, 1.5 furlongs. So, you know, she might even be better over 3 miles. Be fascinating. You'd want to see her against Paisley Park getting £7. I know we'll come on to that, but that's the race I'd love to see.
But from listening to you, you're just leaning towards Benny the Dieu ahead of Honeysuckle.
Yeah, I think the bet is probably right. You know, I think Benny the Dieu a little bit ahead of Honeysuckle. I think that's probably about right, yeah.
Okay, Dean, are you Benny the Dieu or Honeysuckle?
I think Don sums it up perfectly. Like Honeysuckle's going to actually improve for that spin over 2 miles. All right, just falling over the line perhaps in a race that isn't her optimum, but her jumping improved as the race went. By the last, maybe where she gets a bit lonely, but she could be as good as Benny the Dieu. She's not yet, so the betting is spot on. But if she runs against Benny, I'll be hoping Honeysuckle wins without probably getting involved with a wager because it's that tight. If she goes for a champion hurdle, I think that's the right call. And as Don says, I would put Benny in the stayers because something should have a crack at Paisley Park. And if they decide for the mares, well, they go for the penalty kick. That's up to them. But it's the same check to cash finishing second to Paisley as it is to win this. And this is a nothing race. This is, with the 2 horses in there at the top of it, it's better than the champion hurdle, but it shouldn't be. It's the mare's hurdle, so why not go for the bigger targets?
Okay, let's bring the crowd in here, okay? Honeysuckle v Benny the Dieu, mare's hurdle, ground suitable for both of them. Hands up who would back Benny the Dieu. Okay. And hands up who would back Honeysuckle. No, you can't back both of them. Okay, so it's pretty strong in Benny the Dieu's favour, and she is currently your 8-11 favourite.
Does everyone hope I hope they run against each other?
So do I.
I hope that that would be my race of the nearly the week to see the 2 of them going at it.
Because usually, like when the champion hurdle is over, day 1 is kind of it limps out like. But if you've got that race after the champion hurdle, it's going to be a cracker.
I prefer to see Benny the Dieu against Paisley Park.
Me too.
That'll be a race.
Me too.
Getting £7.
I don't know, just the 2 mares, 2 big different parties. I agree, it'll be another great race, but I just really want to see Honeysuckle run against Benny the Dieu.
Yeah, me too.
2-1 Honeysuckle for the next 5 minutes or so.
So 2-1 Honeysuckle with Bet Victor for the mare's hurdle, pushed out from 6-4. The other 2 races on day 1, the Northern Trust Novice Handicap Chase and the National Hunt Chase. Don, this time last year you sat on the panel here, and one of your strongest fancies of the week was Champagne Classic for the National Hunt Chase. Unfortunately, he was ruled out of the race a couple of days later, and it's happened again.
I know.
Champagne Classic out of the National Hunt Chase. Does that mean it's a penalty kick for carefully selected?
Yeah, he'll want to be better than he was at Nace now. He'll want to jump better. I know that was only 2 weeks after his previous run, and he had to run in it because he had to qualify, he had to finish in the first 4, and it nearly went all wrong at the 3rd last fence. But he's in it, and this is his only entry. Like Patrick Mullins must have done the entries this day because he didn't put him in the RSA Chase. Yeah. He left him in the National Hunt Chase alone. If Copperhead runs in that, he'll give him a race, I'd say, because he was very good the last day in the Reynoldstown, and step up to 3 miles 6 now, not 4 miles. That'll probably see him improve again, but he could go in the RSA Chase instead. So yeah, that would be a good race between those 2.
Diarmid, the Novice Handicap Chase or National Hunt Chase, what would your selections be in those?
The National Hunt Chase, I'm kind of happy to leave it now for the time being. I'll be taking on Carefully Selected, but I have no idea with who yet. I don't like the way Carefully Selected jumps the fence at all. No doubt the engine's there, it's huge. Beating Captain CJ after the mistakes that he made shows that there's a serious horse there. But you'd just be terrified of him finishing the race. I think at 9-4 particularly, you'd want to be very, very brave. In the Novice Handicap Chase, there's an awful lot of these that haven't been at a whole pile all year, and Beakstown is one of them. He's been running in some very good races behind Champ and Mr. Fisher, etc. And he hasn't been off a yard all year, so he'd be very interesting here at 12-1 if they gear him up a bit towards actually winning a race.
Whoa. Interesting. Dean,
Yeah.
your 2 selections in the National Chase and the Novice Handicap Chase?
If anyone's going to back either of the top 2 in the National Hunt Chase, Copperhead is the bet for me. Really impressed with that the last day. Definitely in an RSA picture. If they decide to go for this, it looks ideal. Carefully selected, you're taking it.
Who'd
really
ride him
hope-
if he ran in it?
Sorry?
Who'd ride Copperhead if he ran in it?
Apparently Jamie Codd and Derek O'Connor have been ringing them. Is what
Yeah,
they were saying.
we're not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, obviously you want one of
Either
those
of them's
lads
not
on.
bad.
What?
Obviously you want one of those
Oh,
lads
I
on.
didn't be a
like,
big
yeah.
part of the bet.
Yeah. So Copperhead, if the race was right now, I'd back Copperhead at 7-2. There is a horse in there. I don't know if it'll run Evan Williams' Prime Venture, who amazingly is still a novice. I don't know how that's even
Ran the
possible.
Welsh National?
Yeah, finished 4th in that. You'd imagine it would really appreciate this race. I don't know if they're going to go. I think it's entered at the weekend. He's 66 to 1 non-run a no bet with these lads here. So I think there's worse bets around. If he doesn't run, you're all good anyway. In the Novice Handicap Chase, Galvin I thought was pretty obvious. I think he's 5 wins from 10. Looks like they've got him exactly where they want him. He looks a very strong. I think he'd go a favourite over Imperial Aura, to be honest. And 7 to 1 is there now. Probably would be about that on the day.
Lads, anything in the other 2 races, the Novice Handicap Chase or National Hunt Chase, Mikey?
I've no opinion on the Novice Handicap Chase, and I'd be agreeing with Dean. Copperhead there. Yeah, carefully selected, but sure, he didn't jump well enough around Nace to fancy him at that price. Yeah. And Colin Tizard, real good trainer of a staying novice tracer, be very fit, trains on Wexford sand, ground is soft. Like, I'd love that. Not just the Wexford, but that's what he gets horses as fit as anybody, if not fitter. That's why they bomb out the odd time. Like I said, lost in translation, maybe just needed a bit of a break. And the Copperhead there with the Codhead or Derek or Barry O'Neill would do me on that.
Lovely. Copperhead at the moment 4 to 1 with Bet Victor for the National Chase. David, do you like anything in either of those 2 races?
Carefully selected, yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, you think carefully selected. I know his jumping was poor the last day, but it was only a fortnight after his previous race.
Yeah, I forgive him for it. He's a novice. He's a big, slow, stupid novice, and that's what the form is there for.
Yeah, absolutely. Patrick is quite keen on him, isn't he?
Yeah, I was actually riding him out the other morning, and I nearly got a kick off a little rat of a filly, and jeez, Patrick nearly started crying. So, you were there for that as well, weren't you?
Yes.
He's riding the filly.
I got the bollock and I was riding the horse. It wasn't nice.
Blame something else. Just blame the other rider.
So there you go. That's David Fancy's carefully selected. So to finish up day 1, we want your best bet on day 1, and I'm going to kick off. I fancy Hold a Note in the Northern Trust Novice Handicap Chase. It is currently 9 to 1 with Bet Victor, trained by Mick Shannon. He's rated 145, so he's definitely going to run here. And I think he is a better horse than his mark suggests. So Hold a Note for me. Dean, your best bet on day 1?
Yeah, Fiddler on the Roof in the first.
Sam?
Beatstown each way, actually. We've seen some pretty shrewd money for that, and Connections look very satisfied after the last 2 runs.
Okay, excellent. So that's Beakstown, who Dermot give a good shout out to. Dermot, your best bet on day 1?
One race we didn't cover there was actually the Ultima, where we actually missed it there from our notes. But the Discorama is interesting in that of 149 breeding operation now since that kind of poor run at Limerick at Christmas. But that ground at Limerick was brutal at Christmas, so I kind of forgive any horse that didn't quite run in it. So Discorama off that weight, about 16 to 1 would be my idea, the best bet on day 1.
Brian Cooper likely to ride. David, your best bet on day 1?
Elfield each way in the mare's hurdle.
Wow, Elfield.
Yeah,
Okay.
each way anyway.
Excellent. Mikey,
Yeah, actually, I'd go with your one. Yeah.
Hold a Note.
Yeah, because I remember you coming up with one like that last year and actually ran well.
What do you mean actually?
Didn't even win.
Actually ran well.
Yeah, I think it was placed at a big price, and to come out with one like that from I'd never even heard of it. You have to have your homework done, so I just go. Hold it up, Mick Shannon.
It is my job.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. So
I
a
think-
ringing endorsement for Hold a Note
Yeah.
in the Northern
Mick Shannon,
Trust.
good trainer.
Yeah, good trainer. Yeah, dual purpose trainer. Don, your best bet on day 1?
Galvin against Hold a Note in the
Good shout.
Northern Trust Company Novices Handicap Chase.
You think he's well handicapped?
He's 142. He ran a blind in the Ballymore last year. He just made a mistake at the 3rd last and stayed on. He nearly beat Sam's profile for 5th in the Ballymore. Rated 142 now. His run the last day against Salceretta was very good. He made a mistake at the 2nd last. He stayed on while the whisper in the breeze. Yeah, and then they left him. He got his mark. Said we'll leave him there now, I'd say, and keep him below 145, which is the ceiling for the race. He'll be getting £3 from Hold the Note. Yeah, I think think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it is Galvin for Don McLean, his best bet on day one. So moving on to the Wednesday, and the opening race on day 2 is the Ballymore Novice Hurdle. And the second coming, Envoy LN, is your current even money favourite with Bet Victor. Sporting John 5-1. The Big Getaway 5-1. Shishkin 6-1. The Big Breakaway 6-1. Time Hill 13-2. Asterion Forlonge is 8-1. Chantry House 8-1. And Filler on the Roof is 8-1. Mikey, you love Envoy LN.
Yeah.
Love him.
Beast. Yeah, sure. Won't be bet. Really well. They do get bet once every 5 or 6 years. But like,
When you say day,
if he gets bet, like I'm gonna leave race. You know what I mean?
well, it's happened before.
Again.
So no, look at. I don't think he's like Sam Crow. Obviously developed a couple of issues or whatever, but I just think this has bomb proof. I seen him win. He's 4-year-old man for Colombo on heavy ground, and big getaway there. Maybe chase him home. Alex Zerdane, same. Might if they can get him settled a bit better. But no, enjoy him. Envoy Allen there. Yeah.
A beast.
Beast, yeah. You can do whatever you want on him.
A beast, Don. Envoy LN.
Yeah. I mean, look, he's never been beaten. He not only does enough. He won the last day. He only won by 3.5 lengths in the end, but he just the way he did it, and he could have won by more. And it was a good race. They went a good pace. He's won his bumpers. He won the champion bumper last year at the track, so we know he handles the track and the occasion. And he seems to be getting better. It's probably the race for him. 2.5 miles on easy ground is ideal. Look, it's a good race. Like the Ballymore always is. The Big Getaway was
It's a
very
good race, and he's even money. Is he not too short?
Yeah. I think his presence in the race makes it a no bet race, because I wouldn't be backing him with even money. But you're trying to make cases for horses against him, and then he'll win it, and you'll go, I knew he was going to win it. It's a kind of a.
I don't think he's too short at all.
Yeah. I mean, it is short. It's short.
I
It's short for a Cheltenham Festival race.
Back him with even money for a champion
back in
hurdle.
Yorks and Clonmel and Leopardstown there at 1-2 even money.
Yeah, but they're not running against the Big Breakaway, the Big Getaway, Sporting John.
Not as good as Envoy Allen.
Yeah.
Better than me.
Century.
Yeah,
Keith Dunner was on it the day he was flying. He worked there yesterday in the Curragh and he's flying.
Yeah. Okay.
Flying.
So, Don, if Envoy LN obviously is your fancy, what do you think his biggest danger is?
I think the Big Getaway is, like, he's a very progressive horse. He won really well the last day at Naas. Foxy Jacks came out and won his maiden since. And again, he's that type, like he's a type, just big, strong, Willie Mullins type of horse that you'd love to see in the Ballymore, and that seems to have been his target for quite a while, because you're talking about the Joe Donnelly horses. You could have split them up, and maybe he could have gone in the Albert Bartlett and Shishkin in the Supreme, and then run the other one in the Ballymore. So that would have been a logical thing to do, but this seems to have been targeted for the Big Getaway for a while, so it probably is the right race for him. And the Big Breakaway as well, who's also by Getaway.
I like him now.
Yeah.
I think he's like
I think
they
they were too
absolutely
dangerous.
love him,
Yeah.
and I think he's a really, really big future.
But it's hard to know, isn't it? Like whatever wins this is going to put up a career best probably, and they're both lightly raced, improving, lovely horses who could go on to be anything. So they're the unknowns there, and even throw Sporting John into it, who won well at Ascot the last day. So it's a good race, but I think they all have to step up a lot to get to Envoy.
Okay, Dave, Patrick is a big fan of the Big Getaway. Even before he won his maiden hurdle, he was talking him up. Couldn't understand how he got beaten at Christmas at Leopardstown. Where does the Big Getaway fit in the Willie Mullins Novices? Like, is he talked about as a serious animal?
The Big Getaway, he got knocked out today, ran in his first bumper, and I remember coming around and just seeing the TV screen and Patrick coming up the straight and couldn't get to the horse in front of him. No, I think it was Fiddler on the Roof, but I was just thinking to myself, how did Patrick...
That was at Navan, yeah.
How did Patrick get beat on this? And then I thought I was dreaming for a minute
You said it to him too.
I genuinely did think that.
David would say that to Patrick now straight after the race.
Yeah.
How did you get bet on that?
A friend of mine backed him.
Down the pecking order then again for another month. Danny in for the next time.
Yeah. No, Envoy Allen is certainly Big Getaway. He's a 3-miler, he's a chaser. The way he jumped the last in Leopardstown, just what a dope. Like you nearly have to be a faster horse to win the Ballymore than you do the Supreme Novice. It's very tight, and I just don't see the big getaway. No, not at all. It wouldn't happen.
Envoy Allen for you.
Yeah.
Dermot, are you going to make a case for people here to back Envoy Allen at even money?
Yeah, I mean, I do the piece every week with Keith for bookmakers.co.uk, and
Nice book.
just the way he, but just the way he speaks about this horse is you know, he can be bullish at times about horses in Gordon's. He's one hell of a judge, but just the way he speaks about Envoy Allen is something else. It was just on Monday that he'd done a piece of work on him as well, and he was just buzzing. You could hear it off him, and he said we were going through the novice hurdlers, and I said to Keith, we talk about the Ballymore, and he just said, don't bother wasting anyone's time. Like, Envoy wins that race. No one's going to get near him. And like you just see it all season. I mean, like the last run, he seems to be knocked by that by an awful lot of pundits, but for just about beating Alexa Dane, but not just about. Like, he powered away in the end. But Keith said that they let him fall asleep at home. He hadn't done a tap at home. He had a serious blow after that run, and he really needed it. And he said since then the horse has been on fire. They mentally woke him up after it. And like that run when Darver Star in third, Abracadabras in second in the Royal Bond, that's the single best piece of novice form there is in Ireland or England all season. Darver Star has completely proven that. And Envoy Allen was tying with them really. Like, he did the same thing in the Champion Bumper last year. Blue Star, he got them, he just powered away again. Keith again said that he does exactly that in his work at home. I genuinely think we're looking at a very, very smart horse, a serious horse that will go on to win Gold Cups, whatever the hell he wants to do. And even money for a horse like that. I'm not a massive gambler, but I'm sorely tempted these last few days. I'm not a big bettor, I am a gambler, obviously. But I will be sorely tempted him now to, have a proper
To do what?
Have a proper go.
Oh, proper go.
Yeah.
All right, okay. So three very, very confident votes for Envoy Allen. Dean,
Yeah,
you're not an even money man. I know you.
No.
You're not an even money man.
No, I'm definitely not, and I'd love to tell you what to take it on with. I think Sporting John will get a crack at him after last, but I don't think he'd be good enough. Fiddler on the Roof, if they decide to go there and it's really soft, maybe he's going to run second. They're all running for second. He's too good.
Really?
Yeah, but again, like you know, I will not be backing him at even money. I'll throw him in a few multis and I hope he wins.
Sam, what price is he likely to go off?
Well, would you back him at 7-4? Because you get for the next
What?
5
What?
minutes.
Yeah.
7-4.
Next 5 minutes.
How much can
go.
Mikey Fogarty have on at 7-4?
Get out your Bet Victor apps there, lads.
This is not going to last long.
No, it's
7-4, you'll take and violent.
Are you taking cash, Sam?
no.
No.
And
Sadly
lads,
not.
and lads, we won't put that out on Twitter, so whoever's here can have that.
You literally
7-4.
yeah, trade
For
him
how
out.
long?
Go now.
So
quick.
whoever's got a Bet Victor account, 7-4 Envoy Allen for the next half an hour or
You have to
so.
have an account, is it?
In
You have to
the
count, yeah.
We're not allowed an account, Mike.
No.
remember?
Tell the boys, I'm in a WhatsApp group.
Dean, we'll start with you here.
Yeah.
Champ is a horse that divides a lot of opinion.
Yeah.
A lot of opinion. There's people saying he can't win. There's people saying he'll win a Gold Cup. Where do you stand in the Champ argument?
Anyone who listens to the race, I think I started the season by saying I'd lay him every time he ran over fences. Only got lucky once.
Yeah.
Um,
Why?
Why? You know, I didn't really like him as a novice. I didn't like him in his flashy style. He didn't seem to have a lot of substance about him. I think I've been proved a little bit wrong about him, in fairness. He looks to have a super engine. He got Barry out of trouble the last day when he just comes round and beat Black Op. I don't think he gets the landing gear down right. Now, I'm no rider of horses, but they seem to come down at a funny angle, and I think he's a bit dopey. And so maybe that fall will wake him up. And if it does, his engine is good enough to win the RSA.
So are you tipping him?
No, I'm definitely not tipping him.
Oh.
I still think there's a dozy mistake in him. So at 3-1, I'm happy to let him go. I'm against Champ. The horse, I just want to ask the lads if there's any chance that Sam Crow runs in this, because that was my long-term fancy for it, and it's all gone kind of pear-shaped. But if he did turn up, I'd back Sam Crow in an RSA. He's probably not going to go. He's probably
He's
not
having
gonna
Dave
go.
Wells just there
Yeah.
on the Racehour podcast. I've had to tell him
I
about
keep
20
saying
times he's
that
not
on every
running in the
single
RSA.
podcast. If he runs here, I'll back him. I don't fancy him for Marsh. I think he needs a big trip. So the horse that I've come down to at the prices now, because I do want to find a price in here, is Black Op. Who, if you look back, if you go back a little bit, second to Sam Crow in a good race, second to Santini in a good race, the back numbers are definitely there with Black Op. He did get beat by Champ last day, but Champ maybe can beat himself. So Black Op, I think he's 16s, 18 to 1, something like that. he's my each way pick for the race. In a race where you could fancy the top 3, Copperhead I don't think will go. There's 3 horses to beat. I think Black Up will get close enough.
Okay, so Black Up for Dean Ryan. Diarmid, this is when you go through this race, you say to yourself, if Champ, Manila Indo, Allaho, Copperhead, Faheen, Battle Over Diane, Easy Game, if they all show up, it could be a classic.
It could. I mean, William Mullins, you doubt now he's going to send all 3 of them there. Actually, me and you would have had a bit of a disagreement on Twitter about Champ, I think, wasn't it, before Christmas?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you were wrong.
I know. I think he's a big dope that needs to be told at every single fence what he's doing. There was no excuse for him to fall in the dipper. There was absolutely none. He had
He's a
that race.
novice.
in
Well,
his
there's no
first-
better
He's a
man
novice.
riding him.
Top of the game fell and he went on and won an RSA.
But he's not improving run to run in his jumping. He seems to be deteriorating. And going
I
into
disagree.
Cheltenham off the back of a fall. Now, in fairness to Dipper, most of the fences, he got them probably half right. But, like, you're going into Cheltenham off the back of a fall and a horse who hasn't put together one decent round yet of jumping.
Yes, he has.
He hasn't put it together.
I disagree. I think he's a decent jumper.
He's had
Go on,
3
anyway,
runs.
go on.
The second day, he had to get up past Black Up because he jumped like a table.
He made one mistake.
And then his 3rd run, he absolutely went through one when he had the race absolutely sewn up.
He's a
beating Midnight
novice.
Shadow.
He's a novice.
He's a novice going into the festival off a fall. I couldn't have him for much.
Right, go on. What do you fancy?
Mel Indo wins this. I think the way that he won the Albert Bartlett last year with nearly an identical prep, you would have liked for him to have another run, but that's been the plan by Henry de Bromhead all season. He'll be jumping about 200 fences a day anyway, so that won't be a problem for him. And he's 4-1 here, and I just think the way that he put Allaho away twice. Now I know I asked David about this before the race, and David did say that he was a big frame of a horse and he has filled out since, but I still think Manila Indo outstayed him twice rather convincingly. I don't think Champ gets around, and I think Indo wins.
Okay, so Manila Indo for Diarmid Nolan. David, Allaho is a horse that looked really, really impressive last time, and Willie has said that he runs here. He's a real keen-going, enthusiastic type, isn't he?
No. No, he's a bit, he's in a race, he does a bit much. Yeah,
Right,
home is
fair
not
enough.
bad.
I always thought he was a big galloper. 3 mile is his job. Think he's a bit like the big getaway, needs to pull himself together, jump a little bit better. He got it. I'd say if you stood beside the fences in Leopardstown, you'd know what a crunch means. Like after it, he looked like he bellied every one of them. All he does is he's just so big, just bends his legs, doesn't jump. I'm not.
Willie said he's the best jumper in the yard.
Yeah, you know now, Mike, what that means.
Oh, he did. He did say that. I read that.
You know what that means, don't you? Yes or no?
He gets to the far side quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Manila Indo for me. I don't think there's much difference in ability between the two of them, but I think Henry has put this race out for Manila Indo, and I think that's going to be the winning factor.
Okay, so 2 votes for Manila Indo. Mikey.
Yeah, Manila Indo, I'd say as well. Toss of a coin, Allaho. Just let me down a couple of times. You bet him a couple of times last year, and yeah, I don't know where Faheen goes. Easy game. No, I couldn't have. It'd be Manila Indo. I just think he's very tough. Rachael, I was chatting about her, and she said he's just only does enough the whole time, and I love those type of horses in 3 mile races, so I'll stick with him.
Where are you with Champ?
Champ, yeah. I'm not sure, to be honest. Does Nicky Henderson and JP have a good record with staying chasers? Like, you know, I don't think, does Nicky have one? Bar Bobsworth. That's why the long run. I don't know. He could win it, but I haven't followed him enough. But Geraghty is going to produce a little bit of magic over there on 1 or 2 yokes, and he could be the one.
Okay.
Dave, sorry, I forgot to mention Champ. You are wrong now.
Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Why am I
Dermot
wrong?
is right. He doesn't jump.
You don't think he jumps well?
No, well, he's been a complete dope. Yeah.
Barry has to tell him
Oh,
every fence.
I'm with Dave.
And Barry-
I'd love to go. I wouldn't mind the fall at all. He's
It's not the fall. Watch him running Newbury.
Barry has to tell him at every
Terrible.
single fence.
No, but
into
that's
it.
Barry Gurley sometimes. He could do that.
It's not. He's quiet enough
on-
horse.
he
He
could
is.
do
He's
that
very
on
quiet on the
Medicine.
fences generally.
Jays, no, I disagree with you.
Oh, but
We're all pondered.
the fall will crown him. I wouldn't be worried about that at all.
Maybe the fall will crown him now, but
And I
he
agree
doesn't
with you,
jump well.
David. He could win. Is he the classiest horse in the race? Maybe, I don't know.
Don, you have the casting vote.
I don't not like Champ.
I know.
But
there's a big but coming
I
here.
think Manila Indo's a better horse. I think his credentials are better. Like Manila Indo won the Albert Bartlett Hurdle last year, leading from the third last flight of hurdles on the new course at Cheltenham. Like that's some feat. They finished 9th leading at the third last fence or flight, and he stayed. And Allaho came at him, and maybe he outstayed him, but he was a 50-1 shot. He was a maiden going into the race, and then he went to Punchestown, and he was weak in the market at Punchestown as well. Allaho was put in as favourite in front of him, despite the fact that Manila Indo beat him at Cheltenham, and Manila Indo drifted at Punchestown and he beat him again. Like, I just think this horse has been underrated all his life. He ran a hell of a race against Arena at Goran Park on his first run this season, his first chase over 2.5 miles. And then last time he won over 3 miles at beginner's chase, people said, he wasn't impressive. But if you watch it again, he actually, when Rachael Blackmore went for him, he picked up again, he jumped the last well and he stayed on well. And then Captain CJ came out and won the 10-up chase next time. So it was a hell of a run. It was only his second run. Last season, he grew into the season and kept on progressing over hurdles. It looks like he's doing the same this season. Henry de Brum had said the RSA Chase from very early on in the season, it was never a Marsh Chase or a JLT or a National Hunt Chase. It was always the RSA. And Cheltenham Festival winning form, I just think he's got all the credentials. Whereas Champ is a classy horse and he won a Sefton Hurdle as well. And that second last fence at Cheltenham where he fell, that's a tricky fence just after the bend. So I'd forgive him that. But I just think, and he might be a classy horse in Manila Indo, but I think as things stand, the case from Manila Indo is stronger. And he's a bigger price. That doesn't make. I think he should be a shorter price than Champ.
That's fair enough. Across the line, then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 votes for Manila Indo. Sam, what do you like?
We'll put Manila Indo to 11-2 for the next 5 minutes if anyone wants to get involved.
11-2 from 4-1.
Yeah,
You're going to have to get an account, Mikey.
Industry best price, and you get non-run and no bet as well if anything happens.
11-2 with Bet Victor.
5 minutes, guys. Go.
Manila Indo. And Dean, you are a Black Op fan.
Yeah, but I'll have a bit of that 11-2, I think.
So 11-2 with Bet Victor. So the feature race on day 2, and possibly the race that we are all looking forward to most of all over the 4 days, is the Queen Mother Champion Chase. And what a race we have in store. Currently Altior is Bet Victor's 7-4 favourite, Defi Desai 2-1, Shack and Bersois 5-2, 8-1 at Plutar, 12-1 Min, 12-1 Silas Emery, 12-1 Undeso, 20-1 Politolog, and 20-1 Dynamite Dollars. This is a race to savour, Don McLean.
Oh yeah, this is the race of the meeting, really. If they all go, it's a hell of a race. It's great that Altior is back and he ran such a good race the last day, because after Surname beat him at Ascot, like it bottomed Surname out, it looked like it might have bottomed Altior out as well. They left him off and brought him back, and okay, he didn't win the Game Spirit Chase by much, but he still won it well, and it's great that he's back. That said, I don't think he should be favourite in front of the other two. I think they're the improving horses. He's 10-year-old, and look, 10-year-olds can win a champion chase. Plenty have. Sprinter Sacre won it. Special Tiara won it. And he can. Altior's only been beaten once over hurdles or fences. So he's a superstar. He's won the last 2 renewals of this. So look, he's an unbelievable racehorse. But I think on this, the 2 younger horses, they're improving into the race. Defi Desai, I had him down as a 2.5 miler at the start of the season, but he's won a Schler Chase on the Tingle Creek and the Clarence House the last day. He's got that 2 mile pace. Maybe he's developed it because it was the JLT he went in last year instead of the Arkle. But like he's improving this year. Chacun Persois beat Defi Desai at Punchestown last season. You can argue maybe Defi Desai was coming there on the back of a hard season, but Chacun Persois beat him really impressively. And his first run, when he was beaten by Appletard this season, all the Willie Mullins horses were coming on for those runs, and he proved it the last time when he beat Min. And Min is, probably an underrated horse himself, and he beat him well and beat him nicely. So, look, I won't be backing any of them. I think Altior should be a bigger price than Defi Desai and Chacun Persois, and of those 2, I'd probably just marginally prefer Chacun Persois.
Okay, but you won't be having a bet in this race?
No.
Wow. That's fair enough. No, that's
okay. It's so hard to choose between the 3 of them, I think. There's not a kick of a ball between them. There's a mistake or the run of the race in it. They're all, 9-4, 2-1 shots. Maybe Chacun Persois a bit bigger. But no, I think Altior should be bigger. I think he should be a bigger price. I think the other 2 should be a wee bit shorter maybe than him.
Okay, so Don, from a man sitting on the fence to a man who never sits on the fence, Mikey Fogarty, what wins the Champion Chase? And don't say you don't know.
Definitely the soil, I think. Like, I agree with Don, in fairness, I wouldn't back in this. Like, you could, I suppose, but Shaq and Boursois, I would have liked to seen him hit the line better in Leopardstown. You know, I just didn't finish out his race as well as you'd like. Now, it was a savage performance, it went very hard and stuff, but Altior, unbeatable, like for a couple of years, 2-5, yeah, the other, whatever. But I love the way definitely the Sol has been winning this year, and he has the 2 Mile Chase King on, Barry Geraghty riding him as well.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think Defi Desai should be favoured, and I think he'll win. David Mullins, what do you think?
Massive fan of Altior. Definitely the side though has looked class this year. A little bit disappointed with Jack and Boursois. Last day in Leopardstown, I was at the races and I thought he came up the straight fairly slow.
Time was quick though.
Yeah, I don't. That was just my eye. I don't know. I don't watch too many races from the stand. Thank God. I think you just have to bet the forecast. Can you do a reverse forecast or something?
You can do whatever you want, yeah.
Yeah, the three of them. Sorry.
Reverse TriCast.
Yeah, that's the one. Reverse TriCast and throw the 3 of them into it. I don't think you'll lose because Plutarch runs in the Ryanair. Main probably runs in the Ryanair. Steelers Emery's in the Champion Hurdle. On the saw, you'd love to see him win.
The only thing, will Shaq and Boursois make the running, will he? No, he doesn't, does he?
Doesn't have to.
Who makes the running in that race?
And this on the so.
Yeah.
On the so you think little.
You've got one big team player, right, with Shaq and Boursois. It's a 2 mile, it's a tight turn, it's the old course. So that'll help Shaq and Boursois a little bit, like, because Paddy's not going to be going doing any of the boys' favours turning in. You know, and he's still going to be there. The ground's probably going to be soft. On the saw's still probably going to be there turning in. Yeah, the boys, you know, it will help. I just wonder where the pace will come from. It'll be on the saw, true run race.
Okay, so you're doing a reverse forecast with the 3 big ones there.
TriCast, yeah.
TriCast, right, fair enough. Diarmuid, have you please tell me you have a strong opinion?
No, it's a no bet race. Like
Jesus.
Altior will be the one that I will be backing.
Won't or will?
I would be backing if I was to have a bet. I think he's probably too short a price, but he's being undervalued, I think, by an awful lot of people on panels and previews and everything else. I think he's not been given the respect that he deserves for what he's done. I think if there's one race ever that 2 trainers would delete out of existence, is that run before Christmas, him against Surname, because Surname hasn't come back from it. It took him ages to come back from it as well. They absolutely killed each other that day. For him to come back and do what he did in the game spirit, he was dossing till the last and he just powered away again. I think this race could work out in his favour. He'll be staying all day, but this race is just a joy to behold and we should just really enjoy it.
But if pushed, it's Altior.
Altior all day, yeah.
What goes off favourite, Sam, do you think, on the day?
Altior will go off favourite, I'm pretty sure. I think his legions of fans will push him that way. But whether he should be favourite, I'm not sure. I've got a huge amount of time for Defi Desai. I think what he's done this season has been absolutely fantastic. This is going to be a great race. You can't rule any of them out. It's really boring to sit on the fence. But again, if they all turn up, we're going to have a great race. And you'll get a great price on whatever you fancy. If you do have a strong opinion, shop around on the day because every firm will want to push one of them out.
Dean, Altior is one of my favourite horses of all time.
Yeah.
But going into this Cheltenham Festival, he is my lay of the meeting. Because I think he's got 2 horses, Defi Desai and Shaq and Boursois, who are in a different league to Sco Royal, to Politolog, to the horses he's been beaten. Does he really deserve to be 7-4 favourite, Bet Victor?
Yeah, I think he does deserve to be favourite. He's come back from that run with Surname, which a lot of people had written him off. But I mean, over fences and hurdles, he'd only been beaten once, and that was that day. If Nicky has him right, he deserves to be favourite.
These are better horses, though.
Yeah, better, but are they much better than Min? He smashed Min a few times around there. They're not that much better than Min. You've seen that with Shaq and Boursois' run the last day. Looks better than Min, but not a massive amount. If Altior's on his A game, he should be favourite. The only strong opinion I have in this is that Defi Desai won't beat both of those. That's the strong opinion I have. So if I had to rule one out, I'd rule out Defi if the other 2 run and they're on their A game.
You're ruling out the wrong one.
He is the best horse in training.
Well, Shaqwan's already beaten Defi Desai. And Defi Desai, you can't argue, I don't even think you can argue he's improved beating in the Soho in a couple of runs since. So Shaq and Boursois beating Min the last day. I thought it was going to get a masterminded moment where he went past and that was going to go clear. Didn't quite get that, but I think there's loads more to come. from Chacun Poursoir. So I'd rather have Chacun Poursoir over Defi, and I'd definitely have Altior over Defi. So I think Defi will finish third.
Okay, so Defi decide to finish third. Okay, you're going to have to say a name of a horse here across the board, okay? The winner of the Queen Mother Champion Chase is?
Chacun Poursoir.
Sam?
Defi.
Dermot?
Altior.
Altior.
Not Altior.
But come on, Don. Come on.
Chacun Poursoir at the prices.
Chacun Poursoir. Okay, we'll bring the crowd in here again. Hands up, who fancies Altior? Whoa. 3, 4, 5, 6. Whoa. Who fancies Defi de Soy? Beautiful. Double figures. And Chacun Poursoir?
Surprise there.
So Defi de Soy beat Chacun Poursoir, and Altior finished third, according to the crowd. That is the Queen Mother Champion Chase, the feature on day 2. It's going to be some day on the Wednesday at Cheltenham, because we have got the most famous horse in training, Tiger Roll, who's currently even money favourite with Bet Victor for the cross country chase. Easy Lands is 3-1, Yanworth 8-1, Urgent de Gregain is 10-1, Might Bite is 10-1, Never Rush Gone 10-1, and 14-1 Bar. Dermot, you do Keith Donoghue's blog for him on gambling.co.uk. Another plug for the blog.
Bookmakers.co.uk.
What was it?
Bookmakers.
Sorry, bookmakers.co.uk. Edit that out. Edit that out. What is Keith Donoghue saying about Tiger Roll?
Yeah, he said it's more obviously with Tiger Roll. He's not a horse that takes a lot of galloping. So he said it's just more of a mental game with just geeing him up. So he said that the run of Navan has really woke him up, and then taking him over to Cheltenham the exact same. So yeah, he was very, very happy with him anyway, and all roads leads there. But you know, I'd imagine the excitement starts to turn to nerves now as we get closer as well. Like, you know.
Does anybody on the panel not fancy Tiger Roll? Okay, that's fair enough. The champion bumper.
Just say we've gone 6-4 Tiger Roll for the next 5 minutes.
Nice, lad.
6-4.
6-4 Tiger Roll.
5 minutes.
That is buying money. If there's money to be bought, it's himself and Vialan. What was the other one?
How do you get a Bet Victor account? How do you get one?
I'll tell you at the end.
Mikey, for starters, you're probably not in the best position being a John. Right.
Yeah, right.
It's probably not the best.
And your friends get on.
Tell me friends.
Ask Mikey about last year about what he said about Tiger Roll and the cross country race.
Mikey Fogarty, what did you say about Tiger Roll in the cross country race last year?
Everyone in the room off from here last year.
Did I?
He said some stupid French horse will fall in front of him and bring him down.
Oh yeah. He said you can't be confident. That's what he said.
Maybe that last
Yeah, no, yeah, I could have said
You learned your
anything,
lesson.
You know. But,
That man doesn't know what he said 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, but he won't be bet. Like, unless some French fella jumps out and follows.
The Weatherby's champion bumper, 6-4 favourite, is appreciated. God, Willie seems to love this horse, Mikey.
Yeah, so does Patrick, and I thought it was Fernie Hollow up there before Christmas, and he was unfortunate a couple of days, and maybe he was just too keen, but yeah, Patrick seems to really like him, and he doesn't get it wrong too often, so I'll stick with him. What's the other? The each way prices? Yeah, I'm looking at what else?
So you've got 8-1 Panic Attack, 8-1 Fernie Hollow, Queensbrook 10-1, Israel Champ 10-1, Fire Attack 10-1, 12-1 Bar.
Yeah, look, I ride Fernie Hollow out the odd time there, and I like him. I seen him win his point, and he got him set. He dropped him out the last day, and he settled. And
I was impressed.
Yeah, very
was
few
very
horses come up the straight on the bridle and heavy ground bumpers. But whether it's all about it'd be a backing and running horse. Like if you're settled for the first half a mile or mile, like he's a massive engine. So I wouldn't put off anyone having a tenner on him.
Does he feel like a good horse when you ride him at home?
He does.
Yeah.
He does. He looks like a good horse. He's 16.3. He's a big bruiser, and he's the he could run away with if he wanted. And there's not many.
Very few to run away with you.
Yeah, women anyway don't run away with me.
Away from you.
But horses, very few.
Very few. Okay, so that's Fernie Hollow, 8-1 currently with Bet Victor. Dave, what do you make of Appreciated?
Yeah, worthy favourite, 6-4 though for the champion bumper.
Short, isn't it?
Yeah, I couldn't have that.
Those prices, like.
Yeah, and it's a funny race. Like Patrick Mullins is just a tactician, so he's going to think to himself, right, I jump this half, handy and wide. I'm riding 6-4 favourite.
They won't do that.
But then you can get. Does it on everything in the champion bumper.
No, he doesn't.
What's he ever dropped in?
He goes down the rail times. He followed me on Avondale and V. He's champion favourite, made the run down the paint. I haven't seen him handy.
Everything's out. No horse in front of him, really.
I
Anyway.
wouldn't say the wide word, like. You know.
Sorry, I didn't mean to say wide. You
Yeah,
meant
well,
handy,
you did.
safe, whatever. Right? Fair enough.
Don't be
Doesn't
dogging
really
the
matter.
man.
Like,
The
doesn't
man
really
doesn't
matter.
go down wide and
No,
champ
I'm
up.
saying that's what you have to do.
You
You're
made
right
him
in
sound-
favour.
You made him sound like a flat jockey.
No, you
nervous.
have to ride
All right.
the best horse and the way the best horse should be ridden. But then you could get
You're
Katie
a
Walsh.
It's fucking
You
Cheltenham.
get Katie Walsh from
Who
the back
goes
of
wide
the
on
outside.
Cheltenham?
Paul Townend.
He doesn't know.
Yes, he does.
Oh, he does. He does,
Yeah.
yeah, the odd time.
Paddy Brennan.
Only up the home
Paddy
straight.
Brennan when the ground is soft out the hair rep.
Yeah.
But he won't be wide.
Katie Walsh won champion bumper. Dropped out
That
Stonewall
was
last
the
minute.
new course up the last time.
Fiona. Yeah.
Anyway,
That's the point I'm getting at. Like something, a 20-1 filly getting £7 off him. 4-year-old filly like panic attack. They might panic attack. They could drop her out, get them probably a stone and a half off him, and it's a funny race.
She's a very good filly. I was surprised she was sold. She's talented, like.
But 6-4 is too short, is my point.
6-4 is too short. The Fred Winter obviously is an interesting race at the moment. Aramax is the 5-1 favourite. Solo is not going to run. 8-1 Mick Pastor. Fujimoto Flyer 10-1. Palladium 10-1. 12-1 Bar. Don, have you a strong opinion here?
I think you should give us your opinion on this one, David.
Yeah, look, I've said all along that my strongest fancy for weeks and weeks at Cheltenham has been Aramax. The value is gone, but you know what? I actually don't think it is. I think he'll go off even short on the day. He's got a mark of 138. He was 134 in Ireland. I think this is a 150 horse. I think if he ran the Triumph Hurdle, he'd have every chance. And I don't think it's a good Fred Winter when you go through it. This horse is only getting better all the time. And, you know, Mark Walsh didn't even hit him at Naas, and he won by 8 lengths. He went away from recent revelations, and a decent horse at Jesse's in Gin on Lime. To me, I'll be bitterly disappointed if Aramax doesn't win. Anybody agree or disagree on the panel? Don?
Hard to disagree with it. No, he was very impressive the last day. In fairness, he flagged him up beforehand at a big price, so he's way shorter now. But no, I'd agree with that. Like, is Joseph going to run Cerberus or Away with the Sea in this instead of both of them in the?
I think one of them, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think they're both going to try. No, I think I agree. He's the right favourite. I think Santa Rosa's going here. Mick Pastor maybe. Nicholas horse won at Ludlow. But no, I think Aramax. It's hard to see past, or he's the right favourite for the race.
Dean?
Yeah, I like Aramax. Price is incinerated though, 5-1 for a Fred win. It's going to be a pretty hard race to win. Galahad Quest I thought was interesting if Nick Williams decides to run him there. He won the Triumph Trial, the Grade 2 at Cheltenham. They might put him away. We may not see him for a while, but if they do decide to run him, if the ground is favourable, he's potential to be a Gold Cup type horse in the future. I think he's really, really nice. He did everything wrong almost and still won that day. So I think he could be quite good. The Yards won it before. He's 16, so I crept him into the bottom of the slide so we could talk about him. So
Wow. So you think Galahad Quest can win a Gold Cup someday?
I think he's that type of horse. It's a big ask to go and win a Gold Cup. Not many do it, but he's
That would
that
be
type
some
of
shout.
horse that will end up being there. And they've had some good horses,
Yeah.
so I think they know what they're talking about. I'd be of the mind that will go a long way anyway.
Okay, so the strongest fancies from the panel on day 2. I'll kick off with Aramax, obviously. Dean, your strongest fancy on day 2?
Is it just a cop out to say that M4 Allen's probably?
No, that's fine. That's fine, yeah. Envoy Len. Sam?
I'll go with the Tiger. 64's gone, I'm afraid, as well now.
gone?
Absolutely filled in. Trading, not very happy with me.
Okay.
Won't have a job tomorrow.
Good
guys,
work,
but
team.
You've all got great prices.
Good work.
Diarmid, your best bet on day 2?
One race we don't have there again. I don't know. That's
Well, you did the slides.
I know. Yeah.
You're criticising yourself.
It
We
is-
don't have that race. We
It's
didn't
in
have
your
time.
notes though.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, we didn't know that there,
they,
Finn.
it does say like there.
Oh, sorry.
Canardi,
The one race that's not priced up is the Coral Cup. Diarmid?
Yay!
Canardi are in the Coral Cup and of 145. I think he's a big chance. He was 5th last year, but turning in, your eyes get dragged towards Wicklow Braves. Wicklow Braves obviously travelling like a dream. He's travelling very well inside. And he just has a soft finish to him. He's now a Willie Mullins, and obviously Dermot McLaughlin's a brilliant trainer. But a rising tide brings up all boats. Down at Willie Mullins he should come on for all the galloping there with a better brand of horse, and he's £5 higher than last year. I just think that a race is going to fall this horse's way one day, and I think he's quite a smart horse. He should have won this season over fences, under Keita O'Neill. He fell 2 out when really he looked the winner all out. and back over hurdles now. Obviously, his confidence went there, but 145, a year older, a year stronger, and I just think he's a cracking bet in that.
Okay, so that horse is Canardier in the Coral Cup. David Mullins, your best bet on the Wednesday?
Tiger Roll and Envoy Allen, they're just
Do the double.
They're unbeatable, yeah.
Mikey?
Same.
Don?
Manila Indo.
Manila Indo in the RSA. So moving on to day 3, and the opening race on day 3, formerly known as the JLT, is the Marsh Novices Chase, and the current 4-1 favourite with Bet Victor is Allaho, 9-2 Itchy Feet, Fakir Dare 5-1, Faheen 6-1, Mr. Fisher 7-1, 8-1 Easy Game, 8-1 Sam Crow, 10-1 Brewing Up a Storm, 10-1 Reserve Tank, and 12-1 Melon. Diarmuid Nolan, this is a really strong race this year, possibly better than the Arkle. What do you like?
Yeah, definitely. I'd love, to be honest, if Allaho went here. I just think Allaho from the front here would just absolutely drive the rest of them into the floor. I really do. But he more than likely won't. Melon, to me, all season has looked like he's kind of wanted to come up and trip. As well as that, it has to be remembered with Melon, his form has been obviously not great this season. He beat Gallinjonjo at Christmas, and Gallinjonjo obviously went on and has ran very well since. And Leopardstown, Mellon's left a lot of races behind him at Leopardstown. That's not really his track. He tends to run his very best races at Cheltenham, and 12-1 there, not running no bet on Melon on what he did in Champion Hurdles. That day when he jumped behind Fakir Duderie, Fakir Duderie jumped like a really quick 2-miler, and he jumped like he needed further. But he still put up a really good showing. Fakir Duderie has only backed that up since. So 12-1 there on a horse as talented as Melon, who over hurdles would have a lot of these in trouble, obviously bar Faheen. I think is a huge price, and I think Melon is a cracking bet here.
Okay, so Melon is a cracking bet for Diarmuid Nolan. Mikey, Sam Crow is a curse word in some quarters. People are starting to really hate this horse. Should we be giving him one more chance here?
Yeah. I wouldn't back him, but I like him. I thought he ran very well in Limerick. I just think he ran into Faheen, a better Faheen nearly than was in Leopardstown. And he's won at Ballymore, and Gordon Elliott obviously can do great things. So I wouldn't write him off completely. Probably not the horse we hoped he would be.
Yeah.
But I like him. But I don't like him as much.
Are you the forgiven type?
Oh yeah. Anyone that doesn't forgive, it's a long road.
Would you?
Yeah.
Even in the love life, would you be forgiven?
Oh yeah. It'd probably be my fault anyway.
Would it?
Yeah.
You give them too many chances.
Hold on. Wouldn't be once or twice. No, so yeah. But yeah, I would. But I like Faheen the most. So of all my horses in racing, he's my favourite horse, and I enjoy being around him, and I enjoy working beside him and seeing him. And David was lucky enough to win a Grade 1 on him. Sure, he's just a cool horse, and I hope he runs in Cheltenham for the public. And if he won, it'd make racing just great for that week. Like it'd be brilliant.
Do you think he'll run?
I heard yesterday in the preview that he might be run. That people think he won't run. I think he will. Like, what do you think?
I don't know.
Yeah, well, there's no reason why he's not running. He's
right now.
Pete, does he run or not?
Yes, so Rich.
You're the lad that leads him in every day, wins. You have to give us some bit of insight. Yeah.
You don't know? Don't know. No. You're not convinced he'll run, Dave? I wasn't either, to be honest.
I don't know. I don't see why not, but everybody says he won't. I don't know.
Yeah, well, what would be the reason behind not running him at Cheltenham?
I suppose if you have Faheen, no, it's that if you win, you're being greedy, going to Cheltenham with a horse to run.
That's what I mean.
Probably,
it's a Grade 1.
Powers Gold Cup, yeah.
Powers Gold Cup over 2.5 mile. Right. That maybe might be the reason.
Which this is a Grade 1 over 2.5 miles as well.
Yeah, and it's in Cheltenham.
No, it's hard to say Cheltenham.
He loves Cheltenham.
I'd be shocked if they don't go.
Right.
Rich would want to go, sure, and he's the horse everybody wants to see. And I never heard a roar. I was about 10 lengths behind him, obviously, in Leopardstown, but I nearly fell off the horse with the roar. I thought something had happened. So obviously I knew in a roar was a good thing, and I was delighted. And but look, I hope he wins if he runs in it. Yeah, I wouldn't back against him either. He's rocking.
Yeah, he's working well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John Codd rides him. He's every day, and he'll be fit. You know.
Lovely. Hopefully Faheen will run. Don.
But one in that I like. Sorry, if the ground is dry, a horse called Reserve Tank. My brother and I sold him at home before he was going around the point a week before, and I rode him. Actually, Brian Cooper rode him around Thurles over 2 miles, and I actually went about 6 lengths clear, but I wouldn't mind that. And I rode him then around Bar's point track, and I dipped him. And there was a few other decent horses from Dennis Murphy's in there. He's a brilliant jumper, and I asked Puppy about him. He said if the ground is dry, he gives him a big shout at about 12 or 16 to 1. And I think his hurdle form from last year is very good.
Yeah, multiple Grade 1 winner, one at Aintree and Punchestown.
Yeah.
That Reserve Tank currently 10 to 1 with Bet Victor.
But the ground has to be nice, he said.
Yeah, excellent. Don, what do you like here?
Look, you'd love to see Faheen running here, and I suppose this is the race for him more than the RSA Chase. Like, you know, he's 12 years old, but you know, if you go and chasing with him as an 11 going 12-year-old, you want him to get to Cheltenham, and it'd be great if he goes and runs and wins.
He couldn't win it though, could he?
He could win it, and it's form. Like, forget the fact that he's 12. Like, his run against Sam Crow and Limerick was fantastic. Well, even winning his beginner's chase after making that mistake down the far side, and another one at the third last. Like, if you didn't know he was 12, you'd think he goes there with a hell of a chance.
Captain C was placed that day,
And anything that went with him in Leopardstown up in the handy, they all felt like Battle Over the On was drunk, fell at the last. It was Puppy that gave it a great ride, dropped in and rode to be placed, and still got to him, and your man broke his heart and bet him. I think his form is rock solid. Yeah,
fair enough.
You'd have to give him a chance if he goes, and it'd be brilliant. It'd trump all the Bryony Frost last year, wouldn't it?
Thank God.
If Faheen went and wouldn't it though? For atmosphere, you know.
So pretty positive vibes for Faheen here. David, obviously we don't know if he's definitely going to run, but he might. Of the rest of them, obviously Itchy Feet won the Scilly Isles at Sandown. Allaho was very good last time. Fakir the Darays might go for the Arkle. Mr. Fisher won at Doncaster. Easy Game was second to Faheen. Is there anything you like among that list?
Well, Faheen is the best horse I've ever ridden, and could be the best horse I've ever seen. I'm not 100% sure. I don't think 2.5 round Cheltenham suits him. I think it'll be a bit too quick for him. And Ollie Murphy, I'd say he's odds on he's going to have a Cheltenham winner this year.
Yeah.
One of the best up and coming trainers we've ever seen. He's going to be just getting bigger. He had a second and a fourth, I think, from 2 runners last year. Second and a third, maybe something.
Second, third, and Supreme.
Supreme, Thomas Darby and Itchy Feet.
Yeah, and I think did he have something in the county as well that could have been second? I'm not sure, but I think he's going to have a Cheltenham winner, and I think this is his one.
Yeah, I agree. I think this race will be won by Itchy Feet. Diarmid?
Mellon, I've already said it.
Oh, sorry, yeah. I was listening. Dean?
Well, Demo made a really good case for Mellon. I think on Cheltenham form, the 12 to 1 there is a bet. Everything he does there just lights up.
He's a kind of an annoying horse, and that you know he can do it.
So. Yeah.
We know he can do it. But jeez, he doesn't do it very often, does he?
Yeah, if he
He's
fights
at Cheltenham though, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he's got a record at Cheltenham.
What is he, second in 2 champions and a Supreme?
Yeah. You think that 12 to 1 is value?
Decent price, yeah. I'd love Faheen to win.
Any nice offers for us here, Sam?
No, but what I would say is Faheen at 6 to 1, non-runner, no bet. Surely, come the day, he'd go off a couple of points shorter than that, given the groundswell of support that will be there. The race will cut up a little bit. I will just mention as well, Sam Crow, big fan of the horse, but we saw some money today for that. Actually clipped him into 7s, and he'd been a bit bigger. Someone seems to think that he's back to his old self.
Worked well last week.
Yeah.
Worked well
Preview
last
night
week.
chat, isn't it?
Huh?
Preview night.
Yeah. Look, everybody has their own opinion on Sam Crow. The only thing I will say, he did scope dirty after Limerick, and I know he scopes dirty an awful lot, but it'll be interesting to see how many people do give him another chance in the Marsh Novices Chase. For me, it is Itchy Feet's race. The Ryanair is next race we're going to preview, and it's another very interesting race at the moment. 2 to 1 favourite with Bet Victor is A Plus Tard, 3 to 1 Min, 5 to 1 Riders on the Storm, 6 to 1 Froden, and it is 14 to 1 Dynamite Dollars of those on the list that are likely to run. Dean, we'll start off with you here. An interesting clash between 2 Irish horses, one that's done it, we know what he can do, and another horse we don't quite know how good A Plus Tard is. Where do you stand?
I would say A Plus Tard can get to a level that Min's got to, but it's a fair bit off it, yeah. And I know that sounds a bit weird because A Plus Tard obviously got the better of Chacun Poursoir and Min didn't. But Chacun Poursoir that raced against Min looked like it had come on leaps and bounds, like a different animal to what we saw with Aplutar. And I'm happy enough that those two set the standard for this race, as you've just described. Min at 3-1 is definitely a bet, one of the stronger bets of the meeting, I think, for me. Riders on the Storm, who I really like, love the tenacious way that he goes about his race, and it's amazing what Twiston Davis has done with him, considering he had some problems before, and it seems like they got him for a bit of a steal. I think he might have left the race behind in a pretty tough contest at Ascot last time. So Min at 3-1's a very strong bet for me. The Cheltenham form is all there. Aplutar won a handicap last year, so I'll stick with Min.
Do you know what? I agree with you. I'm a Min fan. Sam, you're enhancing a lot of Rachael Blackmore's rides. She's on a big fancy here in Aplutar. Any enhancement?
Yeah, we're going to go 11-4 next 10 minutes, guys. So if you're a big fan of the horse, I know you say won a handicap, but the style of the horse won the handicap last year, I think needs to be taken into account.
Yep.
And what the horse done this year. On Riders on the Storm, I was there that day, the last run, a gritty win, but geez, it's some turnaround to get that horse back out and win a Ryanair in this sort of quality.
Yeah, it's
I
very
think,
close.
you know, I don't want to take anything away from the trainer, and that was a great win that day, but this is some effort to come to Cheltenham and win off the back of that, and at 5-1, I'd want double figures.
So 11-4 Aplutar with Bet Victor for next couple of minutes. You're on to the traders there. Are you getting much action on these enhancements?
Yeah, well, you're filling us in, put it that way. Traders are not happy, but there we go.
Good stuff. Keep it going. Keep it going. Dermot, Aplutar v Min. Which camp are you in?
Yeah, I don't have much to add to what Dean said. Min's the one that they all have to go and catch. His 2.5 mile form is actually quite strong as well. I mean, I know Hardline can let it down, but Hardline's just a hard horse to place because there's not enough 2.5 mile races in Ireland and England really to put him into. But like, you know, Min kind of, he put him away, and last season at Aintree as well, he was absolutely unreal. He might have just really wanted this trip always, and I just think at those odds, 2-1, I know he's 11-4, Bet Victor now, but you know, he is 2-1, and 3-1 with on Min. I just think Min's one of the bets of the week.
Ran 5 times Min over 2.5 miles. He's won 4 of them. The only time he was beaten was by Politlog in the 2018 Melling Chase. Beaten a neck, I think. Should have probably won. Just made a couple of fiddly mistakes up the home straight. He's probably an underrated horse, Dermot, isn't he?
Yeah, and also that year, I think the Champion Chase might have taken a bit out of him. It was no coincidence last year that he probably put a brilliant performance in at Aintree because the tactics that Rich Ritchie and Willie Mullins camp decided to deploy didn't work at all in Champion Chase. You know, he ended up nearly pulled up. So Min kind of went into Aintree a bit of a fresh horse and absolutely devoured them. And
Racing Post rating of 180 that day.
Yeah, like, you know, ridiculous performance. Like, no one could absolutely get near him. So I know Aintree and Cheltenham are obviously very different tracks, but if he gets into a rhythm like that, no horse, in my opinion, deserves to win a big one like he does at Cheltenham. I mean, if Altier wasn't around, we're talking about a horse that would have won a Supreme and two Champion Chases, is it? Yeah. So, like, we're talking about an absolute freak of a horse. Had Altier not been around, unfortunately, he's bumped into that horse, has seen his arse an awful lot of times, but Min here in the Ryanair, I just think he's a stonking bet.
David Mullins, you've ridden loads of winners for Willie Mullins. You've ridden loads of winners for Henry de Bromhead. If you got a call from both trainers and you could ride either one of them, who would you pick?
I'd be riding Min.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't know, there's not much in it. I don't think there will be much in it. I have to pick Min, yeah.
Okay, that's fair enough. Mikey,
Yeah.
you have Tinder there.
No, I was looking at the farm. Yeah, it's a time cost. Whatever, any of them, it could be, like Don said, it could be the difference of a good jump. You know? So,
You said time cost.
toss it.
All right, I'm easily amused. Don, any strong opinion?
Does anyone want Froden like it? Sure. You know?
Much better race this year.
Huh?
Much tougher race this year.
Yeah.
I wouldn't rule Frodan out. I think like he's got it. He won the last day at Kempton, despite jumping to his left, and like again like that day I thought that was a brilliant day at Bryony Frost the last year when she won it and came in. It was brilliant. I just thought.
You thought that was good for racing, then?
I thought it was great for racing. Yeah,
It was good for us.
It was great for it. I would say that was possibly the best days atmosphere and best days racing I've ever been at. Between Paisley Park winning,
yeah.
it was
The whole lot.
Andrew Gemmell and everything else.
Andrew Gemmell. It was just a brilliant day
You
for
could
racing.
feel the atmosphere that was coming back into the winners' enclosure. It was a Wallace. It was brilliant.
And even it was the same day Defi Desai beat Lost in Translation. Barry gave Sire de Burley
Yeah.
each to win the. It was just a great day. I thought.
Yeah, the whole day was a great day.
You think Froden could do it again?
I wouldn't rule him out, but I do think it's between the two Irish horses, and of the two, I'm an Absolute Tard fan. I think he's probably down to his correct price now. Though there's no major value in him, even in the enhanced Victor Chandler odds with Sam there. I know it's a handicap he won the last day, but as Sam said, he won it by half the track. He was racing off 144 last year. He put up to 160 straight away. I know he disappointed at Punchestown, but that was going right-handed, and Henry de Bromhead, for whatever, he doesn't seem to jump to his left, but he seems to be a much better horse going left than going right.
Absolute hard.
Yeah.
He does jump a little bit to his left.
Does he? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I've seen it in his beginners last
Yeah.
year a few times. Yeah. Fractionally, it's only
yeah,
fraction.
hard,
Yeah.
but he's a stone better going left than going right. And even his run behind Ballymore for Tria, his run the last day when he beat Chacun Persois. I know Chacun Persois was his debut and he came on for it. That was over 2 miles in a furlong, and he really went away from him in the run-in. Back at Cheltenham, he's a Cheltenham Festival winner. Back over 2.5, going right-handed or going left-handed. I think he's like Min sets a very high standard, but I think Absolute Tard can beat him. Yeah.
Okay, so you're Absolute Tard. So we've got 6 votes for Min and 1 for Absolute Tard. The feature race on day 3 is the Stayers Hurdle, and it sees defending champion Paisley Park is currently your 4-6 favourite. Benny Dedu, we don't know where she's going to go yet, is 5-2, 9 under no bet. Champ 8-1, Somerville Boy 8-1, Emma Tom 9-1, City Island 12-1, Apples Shade 14-1, Penhill 14-1, and the World's End 16-1, 20-1 bar. Right, boys. David, you were saying that Tiger Roll, N-Violin are certainties. Does Paisley Park go into that camp?
Yeah, if Benny the Jew doesn't run, he does. Yeah, and I'm not the biggest fan in the world of the horse, but I could not say I happened to beat him. How did Penhill, did he run? Was he second behind Benny the Jew the last day, was he?
Second, yeah.
I know he's been big and he's a very hard horse to keep sound, so he was always a bit fat. And Willie does it with a few horses. They take normally, instead of working them hard at home to get fit, they take runs. So it's easier to keep them sound and you get them to the racetrack. I'd imagine he's going to improve for every run this season. He just could be big at 14-1, having been there and done that twice over 3 mile at Cheltenham.
Absolutely. Obviously, a previous winner in the race. That's interesting. 14-1 with Bet Victor. Mikey, this time last year you'd never heard of Paisley Park. He's some horse now.
Airplane. Absolute airplane.
He wasn't even a kite this time last year.
From making that boo-boo last year, I actually purposely followed him and I got into the story about Andrew Gemmell and all like that. Thought it was brilliant for racing, and I don't really cheer home too many English horses, but I really like the story. The story. I like the trainers. I like the jockey. You know, I wouldn't be the same towards the Nicholses and stuff. Some of those wouldn't be bothered with following them, but he's brilliant for racing and he's an airplane, and there's no way if Bet Victor here gave lads any bit of a price on him. He's a steering job.
You won't be getting one. 4-6. This is the one we said we couldn't push out because we've got so many people. This is in every leg of every acca. Everything that people have got. Paisley Park is considered the foundation stone. That and Tiger Roll.
Ah, come on, Sam.
No.
Come on.
All right, I'll put a text in and see what happens.
See what happens.
I'll see what happens.
Have you ever heard of peer pressure? See what you can do. See what you can do. Ask them. Tell them we won't fill our boots.
He's a sort.
He's a sort.
Penhill is going well and has good value each way bet there.
Okay, that's very interesting. Penhill 14-1 with Bet Victor. Seems as though, according to the lads, he's been trained for the race. So that is very, very interesting. Don, Paisley Park only does enough. We know the way he runs. He races behind the bridle. Like, I'm sure, like myself, you don't back too many odds-on shots. But would this be one you'd be tempted to back?
It's hard to argue against him, isn't it? Like not only is he the best horse in the race on form, Benny Didier aside. It's a race that fosters repeat winners. You know, it's not like a Gold Cup where it's hard to win 2 in a row.
We're going to have a break now in 5 minutes, so you can chat away then just for 5 minutes if we can, just a bit of hush.
The Stayers Hurdle. You know, if you're proving it, there aren't that many. The order doesn't change that often from year to year. It's not a division in which new entrants keep on coming in every year. Really, they're there and they gradually change as they get older and move on. But I know he's a monster, and as you say, he races behind the bridle like Big Bucks did. He hits his flat spot, but you know he's going to find. And the last day against Summerhill Boy, he was idling when he got to the front. He's got pockets loads more left, I'd say. But if Benny did do runs, getting the mare's allowance, she'd be a massive threat to him. Interesting what the lads are saying about Penhill, because he used to go to Cheltenham and he was nearly like Quevega. He'd miss the whole season and go and win his race, like the Albert Bartlett and then the Stairs. This year he seems to be moving into his season, and he ran well in the Boyne Hurdle last time. It was a step up. He steps up again. He might prove to be best of the rest, but it's hard to see past Paisley Park.
Dermot, you've been playing a blinder tonight. You're finding stuff that none of us could see. Have you found that out of the ordinary here in the Stairs Hurdle?
No. Paisley wins and just sit down and watch it. Grand.
Okay. Paisley Park. Dean?
Yeah, move on.
Move on. Paisley Park? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And Sam, you're a Paisley Park fan?
Yeah.
Any reply to that text?
Yeah, it was one word. No.
Did you ask them nicely? Did you put in a few X's? No? No? Okay. Paisley Park 4-6. Now, there's some interesting races on the supporting card on day 3. We've got the Brown Advisory Plate. Currently, Simply the Bets is a 7-1 favourite. The Dawn Run Mares Novice Hurdle. Manila Melody currently 11-4 favourite with Bet Victor. And the Kim Muir, unfortunately, Glen Lowe is ruled out for Gordon, who was the anti-post favourite. But he still has the favourite in Raven Hill. Dean, any fancies in those 3 races? And also on that Thursday card, we've got the Pertemps final as well.
Yeah, the Pertemps not on the picture there, but I think the lads there were saying that Ollie Murphy's going to have a festival win. I think he might have one in there with Scandyberg. Looks a really nice type. Looks like they've had him mopped up for that race for a while. Everything in that race is like that, I take that point. But Scandyberg's 12s. I think it's a decent price for the Pertemps. There is one in the plate that I like. Venetia Williams loves this race. Looks like Bellamy, the Pictons, might just get in. Marker 140 should get in. It's a long way down the list, but generally that will get there. 33-1 with these chaps here. I thought it ran really well behind Happy Diva. I think not getting the luck of the race early on at Cheltenham this season. Just the type of horse that she'll come and win that race with. So hopefully that'll run a big race at 33. So Bellamy the Pictons is an interesting runner from those races.
Love that. 33-1 Bellamy the Pictons, the Brown Advisory Plate. It's a race she's popped up with one in before. She seems to target the race. Sam, you like anything in the sporting card?
I just mentioned a couple we've had some money for. Relegating the Pertemps, I think everyone can see that was a very nice run the last day. Sneaks in there. Happy days if you're on at a bigger price. And Le Bagawa in the Brown Advisory. Warren Greatwick's very sweet on this horse. Has a poor record in the spring, but has been campaigned a bit differently this year. So I think that could pop up at around 12-1. Might be a bit of an each way bet.
Right, Dermot, the mic is yours.
Goodbye Bobby at 16-1, I thought, in the Brown Advisory is very interesting. Gave Mr. Fisher one hell of a fright. Mr. Fisher goes for the Marsh Chase, so it's a grade 1 horse. Runs here for 146. This is a horse that the Twiston Davises have absolutely waxed lyrical about since he was a novice hurdler. So a marker 146 there. He just looks like the kind of horse that's just off grade 1 level, the kind of horse you need to win a festival handicap. The one horse that's the lads afterwards about is I really like that Dalzita.
Oh, we can ask them now.
Yeah.
We can ask them now.
I like her.
Dalzita.
I really like her,
Yeah. She's going to be closer to Manila Melody next day.
Yeah, she was, none of the jockeys seemed to want to ride her in the yard. She ended up with Mark Walsh in her back, and she ran an absolute blinder. She needs to jump a bit better, I thought. But at 8-1, she was very, very interesting.
Very good each way value.
Very good each way value, yeah. And then the last one I thought was, now it's been absolutely smashed the last few days, but Ravenhill to me in the Kim Muir. The rumour around the place is that Jamie Codd rides, and I think that's enough to be said there, and I think it'll win.
I think he's been confirmed.
Yeah.
Jamie Codd rides Ravenhill. So Dalzita in the Mayor's Novice Hurdle, Ravenhill in the Kim Muir. And did you give us a Brown Advisory tip?
Goodbye Bobby.
Goodbye Bobby, brilliant. David, anything in those 3 or the Pertemps final?
Wouldn't have the Kim Muir, the Brown Advisory, just wouldn't have a bet in it. And I think you have to go with Willie in the Mayor's Novice. You know, Le Marquis, Colreevy and Dalzita, they're fair mares. They are proper airplanes. There's no doubt about it.
Have you a pecking order?
I do.
Go for it, Mikey. Take it away.
Dalzita, Colreevy and Lamarquis.
Dalzita is the best of them.
Yeah, I think so at the moment. It's only
I'll go the other way down the page.
opinion.
Le Marquis, the market has it right.
Yeah, no.
La Marquise, Colreevy and Dalzita.
Yeah, it does. The market could have it right, yeah. Looking at that, I was thinking of Old Farm, maybe, yeah.
Don.
I like Manila Melody, that mare's hurdle actually. I know she's favourite, but she was very very impressive the last day, the way she beat Colravy. Like, she stayed on really strongly. And I think that was 2 1/4, wasn't it? Back down to 2.
Was.
Might not be ideal back down to 2. She's a staying mare, but you know, it's
She was
Cheltenham.
getting better the further they went, wasn't she? She was.
Yeah, and her jumping, she's super jumping
unbelievable
for an inexperienced
You just
mare.
wonder how much improvement's left in her. Is the only question I have.
Yeah, but her resolution the last day was just, you know, and they're all likely races, so she'll probably
She
improve.
used to give her
from
£5 or £4 as well. Dalsheet, Manila Melody has to give Dalsheet a £4, £4 or £5.
You like Jolcheetah, Mikey?
Yeah,
You
more
do.
missed the last couple.
Missed the last couple and still just kept on trucking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Second ever run over hurdles.
One of the big price I like in the Mayor's Novice Hurdle is Santa Rossa for Dermot McLaughlin. I think she'll run really well. Thought she blew up and then ran on again in her maiden hurdle against the boys of Fairy House. She was a real good mare last year in bumpers. I think she's got a cracking chance. In the Muir, I like Daisha Abba for Philip Hobbs. I think he's still well handicapped. And I like the Storyteller in the Pertemps. So the best bet on day 3, lads, Don McLean.
Absolute hard.
Mikey.
Dalsheet each way.
Lovely. David.
Colravy each way.
Lovely.
Goodbye Bobby in the Brown Advisory.
Dermot is Goodbye Bobby in the Brown Advisory. Sam.
Labagawar each way at 12s.
Excellent. That's in the Brown Advisory as well. And Dean.
Yeah, I'm going to go against Don with Min.
Min. Excellent. And I will go for Itchy Feet in the Marsh Novices Chase. So we're going to... The JCB Triumph Hurdle starts off day 4, and Solo, after his heroics at Kempton on Saturday, is your current 11-4 favourite with Bet Victor. Goshen is 130, All Mankind 4-1, Aspire Tower 5-1, and it is 10-1 bar. Right, Dermot Nolan, Solo, what did you think on Saturday?
Absolutely outstanding. You can only think that. It's just 11-4. Like, again, we're coming back to recency bias here. There's no doubt that what that horse did was very, very good. Beat Emmett Mullins' horse, the name...
Fuji Moto
Flyer, that's it. Smart filly, obviously, she's very, very good. But, like, Solo, like, 11-4 off the back of one performance. So I know what Paul Nicholls is saying. He absolutely loves this horse. But Paul Nicholls isn't one now who's not short and big enough horses generally anyway.
Well, he did say today that the horse got a mark of 157 and he thought it was ridiculous.
Okay, well, I didn't give him enough credit, so David. But All Mankind, for me, at Christmas, the way he beat Cerberus, there is an issue in this race where someone didn't want to go from the front again, that they could end up killing each other, and a horse like Away by the Sea can end up picking it up. But what All Mankind did that day at Chepstow was absolutely outstanding. It's actually very similar. Like, there's not much difference between what Goshen's been doing to what Solo's done to what All Mankind was doing. So a 4-1 there. Dan Skelton adores this horse, and he's been saying that after this year he's not sure how much improvement might be left in him because of the amount of racing he's had, but All Mankind of 4-1 based on that Chepstow run is a big price.
Okay, so All Mankind for Dermot. Dean, are you a Solo fan?
Yeah, you have to be a fan of Solo, but I'm not a fan of the price. I'm not going to back a horse at 11-4 for the Triumph, I don't think. So no for me. Aspire Tower, you probably can't back after that fall. I thought that was the one, but after that fall it looked pretty nasty.
Would he have won?
Yeah, I think he would have won, yeah. And then the race kind of fell apart, didn't it? With Cerberus kind of giving up the ghost and Wave of the Sea staying on from behind. So All Mankind, that heavy ground form. Again, 4-1, I think it's a little bit tight. Obviously a nice animal. Goshen could do anything. Like that could join you in the bar. I don't know what that... It could absolutely do anything. I don't know what. Whether it's good enough or not. Could be 20 lengths clear and win easy. Could be 20 lengths clear and finish last. I'm not sure. So I passed that one over. I think maybe Paul Nicholls had a horse for this already. Solo might have surprised him. Maybe the rating now has definitely surprised everybody. But Sir Psycho's really interesting. Big price here, 14-1. He dotted up New Year's Day. I think it was at Exeter then. He was good at Haydock. A couple of runs on the flat as well in the past, I think, for Eddie Harty over here. That horse could be anything. And if they run it against Solo, I take it as a tip that they think it's going to go pretty well. 14-1 will do me.
Okay, so Sir Psycho each way, 14-1. Sam, obviously all the money this week, I'd imagine, has been for Solo.
There was money before the run as well. I think a few people cottoned on to the fact that we were non-runner, no bet. It made sense to logistically place that beforehand. If he flopped, he wouldn't be going. I was at Kempton, and yeah, the comparisons to Masterminded from Paul Nicholls was the one thing that blew me away. Of the others in the race, I've seen plenty of Goshen. I'm not the biggest fan. I still don't think he's quite there. All Mankind, really strange. On debut at Warwick, he was an absolute Fruit Loop. He's got a little bit better, but I think something like this could blow his mind. We're going to go 7-1 Aspire Tower in the next minute or so for 10 minutes. Just let me send the message through. And yeah, if anyone fancies that one bouncing back after the fall, I think it will be in the mix.
Might try a little bit of that myself. 7-1 Aspire Tower. Nice bit of value there. Mikey, did you get a look at Solo?
Yeah,
Well.
he's going to come home on his own. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, the others are.
You don't even know what you did there. The horse is called Solo.
No, believe it or not.
That's a sign of a real genius.
Yeah. There was something told me to say. Yeah, the others are sort of flat horses. All Mankind, I really like this sire, See the Moon. If you get your hands on one, just buy it with anything you can. You'll get London for at the sales. His stats for very few runners are deadly. Though it's going to England anyway. The Irish farm is I don't know, we don't know, but I don't like the look of him. And Solo's French farm on heavy ground in Atai is very good. Jamie Moore and Gary Moore, Goshin, I seen him win one day and he was just all over the place, and don't think he can get away with that around Cheltenham. I hope for the boys, Dan and Harry, good mates with them, really like him to win, but afraid it could go to Nichols.
Solo for Mikey. David, what do you make of the Triumph Hurdle?
Don't know too much about them. It's a race. If you're betting in, I just advise you just not. Yeah, there's just so much hype around everything because they're beating horses that need experience, and then they're only 4-year-olds, so they go over the top this time of year anyway, so you don't know what you're getting. They're 4-year-olds, they're babies, a lot of them wear hoods. Cheltenham can get to them, but Solo was very professional the last day. I really liked them. But saying that, I still wouldn't have a bet in a Triumph Hurdle.
Lovely. So we're pretty positive with Solo. Don, like we know what the Triumph Hurdle is. We know they're inexperienced horses. They're juveniles.
Yeah.
But is there a chance we could have seen something exceptional with Solo?
Yeah, there's a chance, all right.
157 is a big mark.
It's a massive mark, isn't
That's
it?
2 pounds below Epatante, who's favourite for the Champion Hurdle.
Yeah. Well, why wasn't Paul Nichols happy with the mark? He was thinking
No,
around
he
the third
said
winter.
no. He thought it was way too high.
Yeah. No, I'd say he's probably right. I'd say it is way too high. The time of the race wasn't great either. Just a bit of a caveat. Look, he looked seriously impressive, and Fujimoto Flyer went over. And Mullinsworth, the lads might know a bit more. Like she seemed to be highly regarded going over there, and he beat her out of sight. And the horse finished third. He used to be with Anne-Marie Holden here, and finished third behind the Wave of the Sea and Cerberus the time before that. So I know he wasn't beaten as far by them as he was by Solo, but it still gives a bit of a line into it. It's with Alan King now. And the other line that we have between the two jurisdictions is Cerberus going over, as the lads were saying, over to the finale hurdle at Chepstow, and he was well beaten by All Mankind. So it does look like the English hurdlers might be a little bit ahead. That said, I think Solo, he's still an entire, isn't he? He didn't get a chance to gallop before he ran him. I just think there's a bit of, as Jim was saying there, he's the hype horse now, and people backed him before the race in anticipation of a good run. Then lo and behold, he puts up a good run, and suddenly he's favourite. I think it's a deeper race than that. I think A Wave of the Sea is still interesting. He was beaten by Cerberus. He beat him, and then he was beaten by Cerberus, and then
He's not good enough, Don, is he?
Well, you say that, right? Now I know he was a bit lucky the last
I mean
day.
it as well.
Yeah, I know he said, and you mean it. I know you don't say things you don't mean, David.
Never.
But the run the last day, his hurdling when Cerberus beat him wasn't very good, and Robbie Power, I thought, rode a masterclass, and Cerberus stacked him up in front. They didn't go pace. Cerberus quickened, and the Wave of the Sea couldn't catch him. But the last day, his jumping was better, and they went a faster pace which suited him. They're going to go a million here. Like All Mankind, he only knows one way. He ran too keen. He ran away at Cheltenham and still won. Same at Chepstow. Aspire Tower, who I wouldn't give up on, by the way. I think he would have won that day at Leopardstown as well. He's a free going sort as well. Goshen, free going sort.
They're keeping going though. I know.
No,
they
are keeping going. But you get onto the new course at Cheltenham. If there's a bit of soft ground, juveniles, it's going to be very hard to keep on going. And A Wave of the Sea, the faster pace will suit him. If he can just improve in his fluency over his hurdles a wee bit more, I think he'll be running on. I think he could go well at a big price.
Tell you what, Don, right? If A Wave of the Sea wins the Triumph Hurdle, me and you are going for dinner in Shanahan's on the Saturday, and I'm going to buy whatever you want.
Good man.
Yeah,
right.
Because there's no way A Wave of the Sea is winning the Triumph Hurdle.
Good.
Right, so there you go. Dinner for two.
We're right
in
there.
Shanahan's, if a wave of the sea wins the Triumph
Steak
Hurdle.
for me, please.
Yeah, you can have the steak and all. So that is the JCB Triumph Hurdle. It's the opener on day 4 of the Cheltenham Festival. Moving on to the second Grade 1 on the final day. It is the Albert Bartlett Novice Hurdle. It is over 3 miles, and the current favourite with Bet Victor is Time Hill at 4-1. Monkfish is 5-1, being very well backed in the last week. Latest exhibition is 6-1. The Big Breakaway 8-1. The Big Getaway 8-1. Harry Senior 8-1. Ramses de Tay 10-1. Cobbler's Way 14-1. Fury Road 14-1, and Dial Care 14-1. And there's others there with Bet Victor at 14-1 as well. Don, you're going to be a few quid down because you're after backing away for the sea. What are you going to get your
I'm
money
getting my
back?
free dinner on Saturday night, though. It's great.
What are you going to back to get your money back in the Albert Bartlett?
I'd say latest exhibition.
Right.
I just love his attitude. He's just a real gutsy, honest to God horse. He's got class as well. He got beaten by Abacadabras, but then what he did then the next day against Andy Dufresne. I know Andy Dufresne hasn't enhanced the form since, but to make the mistake that he made halfway down the back straight and to come back and win like he did was just a gutsy horse. And then he stepped up and tripped the last day to 2 miles 6 and improved again. You'd imagine the step up to 3 miles for an Albert Bartlett should see him improve even further. And you know, the Albert Bartlett Hurdle, it's a 3 mile race for novices. It's a war of, you know, you need stamina to win it, and he has it. And you'd love to see it for Paul Nolan and Brian Cooper to go and win a Grade 1 race. Don't know how good Monkfish is. He's got loads of potential for progression. Time Hill, I think you like Time Hill, don't you? He won the shallow hurdle again. He's improving. Harry Senior won over 2.5 the last day. They think he's going to be better over further. I think that's the way they're going. That's the way they're splitting the Colin Tizard horses up. It looks like Harry Senior is going to go in the Albert Bartlett. But no, I think latest exhibition, he's a horse that we probably haven't got to the bottom of yet.
Lovely stuff. Race behind the bridle as well, which will suit the Albert Bartlett. Latest exhibition for Dom McLean. David Mullins, Monkfish, is a horse that originally this season had been disappointing. He came alive on his last couple of starts. He's a big old-fashioned type of horse to look at. What do you make of Monkfish?
To look at him, you wouldn't make a whole lot of him. Not a nice looking horse, sort of big, gangly, legs everywhere. But he keeps winning now, and he's beaten the horse Fred or something. What was he called?
Run Wild Fred.
Run Wild Fred, yeah.
Fred. Come on, Mike. He beat him the last day. He had him beat jumping the second last in Thurles.
Did he?
Yeah, in Thurles, and he came out and beat with his other horse, Lord, right? He had him beaten Thurles.
Thurles, good ground, 2-6. Paul Town in front, Shaq. Not a hope.
We'll come to you in a second, Mike.
Most impressive horse in Punchtown.
Work away there.
Go on,
I
Dave.
I don't have a real view. You just asked me what Monkfish was. You need a horse for the Albert Bartlett that has got the arse bet off it, has hit a bit of a lull and came back stronger again. You need to have got beaten. You can't be winning races on the bridle. It's funny, it's a hard thing to describe, but they need to have gone through the shit and come back better from it.
Yeah, I think I have one. I'll let you know in a few minutes. Mikey, what wins the Albert Bartlett? You're building up to something big here.
7-year-old. It's a tricky race from favourites. It always something happens to them. Like David's right. So Death Duty, Boston Bob, all of those like flopped in it. Like, and you need horse with experience, age, fit. Does the Big Breakaway run it? Do you think?
I think he goes for the Ballymore.
Right.
Harry Senior is going to run here for the Tizards.
Harry Senior. Yeah. I just don't know how good he is. Of the Irish, I really hope from my heart it goes to Paul and James Nolan. I think it'd be deadly. And I'm delighted that they were able to keep him stay in the yard. And his farm, I agree with Don, his farm up in Leopardstown is brilliant. 2-6, outstayed everything, no excuses. He seems like the Albert Bartlett's going to suit him. But Run Wild Fred, I saw him win the other day in Punchestown. Heavy ground. Walshy bounced him out and he pricked his ears in the last 20 yards. And
He'd a bit up his sleeve, hadn't he?
Yes. In tough conditions, you need that. His experience. He's won around a tight track for a big galloper. I asked Walshy about him, well, what do you think? Like, and he was keen on him, and he's 16-1 in it. Is he going for it, or is he going from? Where do you think he's going?
I'd say he'll go here, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably hasn't a mark to get into Martin Pipe. Is he rated over 145 or 140?
No.
149.
149, then he has to run there.
Thurles wouldn't have suited him. I don't like Monkfish, unfortunately. I don't look. I hope he runs well, but wouldn't be for me. And it'd be the each way bet would be that horse Run Wild Fred, but Paul Nolan's I'm not going against it. I really hope it wins, and they're happy with him.
Lovely. Run Wild Fred was that horse Mikey was mentioning there.
16-1. He'll give you he'll be in the first 3 if he runs.
Lovely stuff. Dermot, Albert Bartlett.
Yeah, this is obviously an absolutely serious race. I'd be willing to forgive Fury Road that run.
Oh, you found it.
Yeah, I
You
really
found
would. Fury Road's been brilliant since then. Like at Christmas, he fell asleep at Leopardstown, hit the last, and was still good enough to power away again. That last run, I'm just willing to forgive it. Davy was never happy throughout the race. Good ground wouldn't have suited. We will have soft ground here. That is going to suit him. I think Fury Road's an absolutely whopping price. Like all year, Keith Donoghue in his blog, he's in his 10 to follow. He was in his 5 horses to watch at Christmas. He put him up as his best bet at Leopardstown. Like, they're mad about this horse at home. And that last run, you have to be willing to forgive it, obviously. But in the end of the day, for a horse that Davy never looked happy on, he wasn't beaten that far. He showed a lot of stamina, I thought, in the end. And he really just kept on. He will have learned from that. That was also 2-6. 3 miles on soft ground will be the absolute making of this horse. And 14-1 on Fury Road is far too big. And there's another one that kind of rag prices, 25-1, 33-1 or so. Another road, Redford Road. I backed the 2 of them. I backed Fury Road and Redford Road.
Nigel Twiston-Davis.
Yeah, like 2 runs ago, Sam Twiston-Davis deserted him. He ended up with Jamie Bargreen in his back.
Mossy Fenny Road, yeah.
Mossy Fen was back in 4th. Second was Champagne Well. He put them all away. Last time he dropped back down to the Ballymore trip, just didn't quite suit him. He was well back that day. He's the kind of horse now that he's been toughened up. He's had his runs this season. He's won over 3 miles at Cheltenham, which is very important. So Fury Road at 14-1 and Redford Road at 25 is my 2.
I'm going to advise you, if you're going to do anything, if you're going to take anything out of tonight, one of the things you should take out is that Fury Road should be back to 14-1. I think because of these stats on the Albert Bartlett, you know, you have to have ran so many times. And as David said, and Mikey, you need to be really hardened. And I think with this horse, like he won his maiden hurdle very impressively at Down Royal. Then he went and he won the Greater Race at Navan when Abracadabras didn't run. Then he won the race that Faheen won at Limerick at Christmas, where you need to really dig deep to win. And then I think they ran him at the Dublin Racing Festival because they said another run is going to help him, even if he wins or loses. The ground was too quick, the trip was too short, and he was still running on at the end. You'll see a more positive ride, I think, at Cheltenham. And to me, 14-1.
There's that Mike broke.
I wouldn't agree with you at all.
Would you not?
Not a hope. Why you sure? Latest.
I'm a latest exhibition fan.
Like what's good ground going to improve Fury Road for, or why is soft?
It's different trip, different track. That inside track at Leopardstown is very tight.
But like he wasn't going forward to the line. Like you're
He
on
was,
about.
yeah.
He was going forward to the line.
He was stayed on again after the last.
The only horse that wasn't comfortable that day was latest exhibition. The ground was too good, tight track, and he outstayed them all. They were drunk from the back of the last.
Davey was at him now from the second fence. He was trying to get
Brian
in position.
Cooper was flat out the whole way, and he outstayed everything. I just couldn't see how Fury.
The horses pulled out in the Saturday because of the quickness.
I'm a latest exhibition fan. I think he's got a great chance, and I'd love him to win. But just at the prices, you're talking about latest exhibition here 6-1. Fury Road is 14-1. Ability-wise, there's not that much between those 2 horses.
I just can't see him reversing the form from Leopardstown. It's a fair track. There was no excuses, and he just.
Is that real inside track a fair track? I don't think they should be running at that. I think that meeting should be further out.
He's riding for Michael O'Leary and Gordon Elliott out the gate. He wasn't able to outstay him.
But he wasn't. He was held up.
He was
For the
dropped
first
in,
time,
sure.
he was dropped in.
He was dropped in the first time in his career.
They crawled up the straight, and there was nothing getting by your man. Latest exhibition.
Right. That's fair enough. We'll agree to disagree, Mike. Is that all right?
No, remember that now.
Do you know what we'll have to remind us? You know what we'll have to remind us? Twitter. Twitter will remind us.
Yeah, do.
Find Mikey Vogelty on Twitter.
Right.
He actually does have an iPhone, yeah.
Dean.
Yeah.
Albert Bartlett. Obviously, myself and Diarmuid think Fury Road is a huge price of 14-1. What do you think?
He's a big price compared to what he was before he disappointed the last day. There's no doubt about that. Home reports all seem to be good. Why not take a chance at a decent price? I think latest exhibition was my early fancy for the race. I thought he was really good at Dublin Racing Festival. That race, because of Fury Road's disappointment, maybe it didn't suit a couple of others, but Mikey makes a good point. Maybe he just outstayed them anyway, and that's just the way that he runs. Hopefully he wins for Nolans, because that would be brilliant. But Time Hill, I'm not sure there's a lot of value in 4-1, but he is the right favourite. I actually think he could have finished even closer to Envoy Allen in the bumper last year. He's a special horse. I think he could be just too good for them. So whilst he's 4-1 and it's not pulling up trees to tell you that I think he's got a good chance, I think he's definitely the right favourite.
Yeah, he's a lovely horse. I was kind of hoping he'd go for the Ballymore, but it looks like he's going to go for the Albert Bartlett.
Trip is a question mark to a degree, because he's hard on himself, I think, when he runs. But, you know, in an Albert Bartlett, if he gets rolling, something will have to go past, and they'd want to be good.
Yeah, lovely. 4-1. I know he's favourite, but you know he's not ridiculously short. Sam, where's the money been with Bet Victor in this race?
Most recently, Monkfish. It's a bit of a quieter market than some of the other novice hurdles. There's one at a massive price that's probably worth looking at for chasing next year, but he might sneak the frame. Kiltilly Briggs for Jamie Snowden. You wouldn't get many Hexham winners that you'd be that keen to be backing at Cheltenham, but he ran really well and made a real race-ending kind of blunder over 3 miles at Cheltenham back in December. They sent him to Kelso. He's won having to work the hard way at 1-4. He's not beaten anything that day, but they really like the horse. He's had 5 runs this season. I think he's the type that could spring a shock, but he'd be one to keep an eye on for the future anyway.
Okay, before we come to the Gold Cup, we're going to go through the other races on the Friday of Cheltenham. You've got the County Hurdle, the Grand Annual, the Martin Pipe, and the Fox Hunters. Dean.
Yeah.
It's always very important that you finish the festival on a high. And if you find one of these handicap winners, the chances are you're going to come out on top. Have you a strong fancy in any of these 4 races?
I do, actually. There's Countista and Aramon in the County Hurdle really interest me. Countista, I think, might go for the double, the Imperial and this race.
JP's?
Yeah, I think it's on 135. Ran really well in the race last year. £5 penny, put it on 140. Should get it in somewhere near the bottom.
Okay.
So Countista is really interesting. Willie Mullen's done a great job with Aramon running out the back in really good races to get it in. I think it's off 149. So I definitely have that on the radar. What else have I got for this? The Pipe, the Boss's Oscars obviously looks like it's been nicely set up. I was interested if Danny Kerwin turns up anywhere. If he does turn up, be interested there. Yeah, but it's about the day, you know. I think he might just have it in him.
Maybe.
He's a classy beast if they get him right. Nichols, a few of his didn't run that well around that time, so Danny Kerwin I thought was interesting in the Pipe, but I am on the Boss's Oscar already, so hopefully he goes.
Excellent. Sam, where's the money been in these handicaps?
Of those that we're looking at, Amaron just mentioned, that's been really, really well punted. Of the handicaps, that's probably our worst result so far in the book. 12-1 still. Martin Pipe, I think there's so many things double entered, it's kind of put a few people off. I quite like the Boss's Oscar at the shorter prices in there. That's been a nibbled horse, shall we say.
Lovely. Diarmuid, I'm sure you've been through the handicaps with a fine-tooth comb since yesterday. What have you come up with?
Yeah, there's a few there. The Grand Annual, I think Lisp is a great bet. Runs here of 144, 5th to the County Hurdle last year of 145. Was 5 years old last season and runs here as a 6-year-old. He just seems to be improving. That run against Fisher's Cross last time was just a really, really good run.
Mr. Fisher.
Mr. Fisher even, yeah. In the County Hurdle, I thought Mohayyed looks very, very well handicapped. I mean, this was a horse...
Previous winner.
Yeah, like, this was a horse last year who was only 7 lengths behind off 153. He lines up this year off 142. Like, he's absolutely thrown in for a previous winner. The money seems to be coming for him, but...
What price are we talking about? 12s?
12s only now, 12s, yeah. So it does seem like he's been well back the last few days as well.
Did you get a bit bigger?
It looks a bit of a no. I only spotted him yesterday, so I completely missed it. But the Mohayyed does just look like the Skeletons have decided. He's still a relatively young horse, and Mohayyed does just look the kind of horse that...
So they've won the race for the last 2 years. They won it with Chittibello last year.
Yeah.
Mohayyed the year before.
Before,
the
so
hat-trick.
Could go again. Yeah, 3 years. Superb Story before, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was second, I mean.
Yeah, so yeah, like they've had a serious run in it, and the last one is the Boss's Oscar as well. Keith was very fond of this horse earlier on in the year. I haven't heard about him since, but a mark of 138 for him does look quite short. I know he was beaten last time, but he just didn't look like he enjoyed that day at all. Before that, at Leopardstown, he was very, very good. Beat a Willie Mullins horse called John Snow. It mightn't be great, but he still put him away quite easily. And the other one in that is the Rich Ritchie owned 5 o'clock off top weight. I think this horse could be quite good.
Okay. Yeah, very interesting. There's a few for you in the handicaps. David, like anything in those 4 handicaps? Or 3 handicaps in the Fox Hunters even?
Yeah, Janadil. Have your life on him each way. Martin.
JP, I love you.
Yeah, like, well, it's there. He's after winning the last three times he's ran. Billaway.
Janadil is that horse. Somebody said, who's that? Janadil in the County Hurdle, owned by JP, trained by Willie, 12-1 with Bet Victor. Yeah.
I think he's, like, he only does enough. You can see that in all his races. He just wins comfortably every day. With his ears pricked, lovely horse, and I think he's not finished improving yet. Lovely. 5 o'clock in the Martin Pipe, I thought he was very impressive the other day. With Danny in Thurles on a track he wouldn't like, probably a bit too tight for him. He's a big, huge horse. And Billaway as well. He's a horse that's really after turning the corner this year. When he first came to Willie's, there wasn't much hope for him, like, but he's just after turning the corner. He looks a different horse. He bolted up the last day in Nace in that Hunter's Chase. And I think this is one Patrick really wants to add to his CV, is the Fox Hunters in Cheltenham. I think this is the best chance he's ever going to have in it.
Lovely. Excellent stuff, Dave. That's Billaway in the Fox Hunters, Janadil in the County Hurdle, and 5 o'clock in the Martin Pipe. Mikey, the handicaps, what have you got for us?
I like Column of Fire. Won, like, I know he was going to stuff A1 New Year's Day in a maiden hurdle, and he fell, and then he obviously bolted up in Punchestown, and then they ran him into Pertemps against all their horses, just to get the distance into him 3 mile. And I think he's stepping back into the Martin Pipe. He's 11-8 in it. Like, the way the weights are now over there, he's not going to be giving an awful lot weight to many. And the owner trainer, the Savage record in it, and he'd be mine if I could write something in it. He would be it.
Lovely stuff. That's Column of Fire in the Martin Pipe. And Don.
Front view in the Martin Pipe. If you go, he's entered in everything, including the Imperial Cup. Yeah, I'll get in all right. 139, yeah.
Okay. That was a very eye-catching run last time.
It was, and that was his first run since November. And 5 o'clock was impressive in beating him now, but he kind of cut across and going to the last, and then front view didn't jump the last well, and he stayed on to get second. So, yeah, Joseph O'Brien, Jeppe McManus, last year's winning connections as well. 139, he should get in off a lovely, like, it was 145 ceiling, he should get in off a nice racing weight. So he's interesting. I think it's the Martin Pipe that he'll go in, but he's in everything. So it's hard to know with the JP horses where they're going to go.
I think it is the Martin Pipe. I was on a preview with Joseph.
All right.
That was it.
Who rides him?
Oakley
Brown. Yeah.
No,
John Joe, no?
No, he never said actually.
Oakley Brown will be some addition there as well.
Yeah.
Claiming, was he claimed 7?
Serious.
I don't think you can claim in the
You
race.
can't claim in that.
No, you can't claim, sorry. Yeah. Still, he's value for nothing.
Yeah. Front view. Anything else?
I finished that rule, claiming in that race.
Did you,
Yeah,
Mike?
because you usually got 3 or 4 pounds.
If you were riding for your yard.
Yeah. They dropped it after that because I was riding for Willie in it, and like obviously Tom Paul, he turned out to be a very good horse, and then I was claiming 3 pounds off him as well. So they just nipped that in the bud.
So best jockey in the race, best horse in the race, and you were still able to claim £3.
Look at.
I thought you'd take praise easily.
No. He was a Gold Cup horse in the handicap. Good job he was too.
Anything else?
I never got another go on him though. O'Leary that was.
Speaking of which, Eclair de Beaufort maybe in the Grand Annual. He ran a hell of a race in the County Hurdle last year. He fell at the last, unseated at the last when he kicked clear around the home turn, and he won the Handicap Chase at Leopardstown impressively the last day. He only won by about 2 lengths, but he won it well. He looked like he had more in hand than that. He got £9 for it. Well, it's £9 including the English, whatever VAT or addition, whatever it is that they call it. He's 149, so he's not well in with Lisp on the running last year, but I think he might have gone close in the County Hurdle, and he goes into the race on a high with the win under his belt. So he's interesting as well, I think, at the Grand Annual.
Brilliant. In the Grand Annual, I like Brelan Das, who was third in the race last year. I think he's got a real similar profile to Le Parisien, who won the race a couple of years ago. I'd be all over Front View in the Martin Pipe. I think he's the best horse in the race. Even if they're running off levels, I think he'd win it. And just a sneaky one that I thought would run well in the Fox Hunters is Staker Wallace, who was behind Billaway last time, but he's won a point since, and I think he could run well. Staker. So the 2020 Magners Cheltenham Gold Cup, at the moment, last year's winner, Album Photo, is your 7-2 favourite. Santini has now been enhanced to 9-2 with Bet Victor. 5-1 Delta Work, 6-1 Lost in Translation, 7-1 Clandazobo, 7-1 Kemboy, 10-1 Presenting Percy, Chris's Stream 20-1, 20-1 Manley, and 25-1 Bar. I wasn't going to start with you, Mikey, but as soon as you said you wouldn't back Santini at 33-1, we're going to start with you. Why will Santini not win?
There's a hole in him. He won't get up the hill. He's no chance.
The hill won't be his problem.
He wants that.
Yeah, you need to get up the hill.
Does he not want a hill?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't.
Right, what'll win it, so? You're doing an awful lot of crossing out there.
I've it down to 3.
Go for it.
The Irish farm, I can't have the Leopardstown farm. I don't know why this year. They're all on top of each other, and none of them hit the line like a Gold Cup winner. They were all complaining the ground wasn't soft enough. It's going to be 3-2 maybe on soft ground. Native River's gone, so like he was going to take him a real good gallop, I'd imagine. But don't have Delta Work, don't have Kembai. None of the rest of them. Clandazobo won't get up the hill. Santini won't get up the hill. That leaves me with Album Photo, Lost in Translation, and the only question mark I have is over Pat Kelly. I don't know how fit this horse was in Leopardstown. He never got 5 or 6 proper backhanders into do you know when a lad is like they said we're going to make more use of him after the first day. You think a jockey will go out and go, well, feck you, I'm going to have you coming backwards now. If he still rode him, I thought, with a view to the Gold Cup, maybe, which is, it's going to be a master stroke. Still couldn't have him, so it leaves me Album Photo and Lost in Translation. The stats are against me for Album Photo to win back-to-back Gold Cups. Tremor done it well, just Lost in Translation. I'll forgive him the last day. I think he'll win it if he goes back to that, and then Album Photo to chase him home.
Lovely. So it is Lost in Translation to beat Album Photo. It was Mikey Fogarty's 2020 Cheltenham Gold Cup 1-2. He's just slated your favourite horse in training, Don McLean. He just said Delta Work has no chance.
Oh, no,
you're all
no
over
chance.
Delta Work.
No,
sorry,
he's a
well, you
great
don't
horse.
fancy Delta Work.
I don't fancy him, no.
Sorry, apologies. I misquoted you there. John, Delta Work.
Yeah, I like
your Gold Cup fancy.
Yeah. I still think he's the value of the race. Like, look, it's a hell of a Gold Cup. It always is. Album Photo, like it's a strong stat, but no, the back-to-back winners, it's very hard to do it. But Willie Mullins has maximised his chance in running him just once, same as last year. Now, last year it happened by accident because he was supposed to run the Irish Gold Cup. He was taken out because of the ground. This year it's happened by design. Sure, he even said at the start of the season, he said he kind of went, sure, maybe we'll just go the same route as last year, and that's what he's doing. So, look, he's the right. I think is Santini favourite in front of him. No, he's joint favourite with him. Yeah, Album Photo should be clear favourite in front of Santini, in front of everything. But Delta Work, he's the improving horse. He's won the Savills Chase and the Irish Gold Cup. When he won the Savills Chase, he was just coming back from an injury that he picked up in Down Royal. When he got beaten in Down Royal, he lost a lot of fans, but he's never at his best in his first run. He came home lame that day anyway, so you can allow him that. He got home in the Savills Chase, was even better in the Irish Gold Cup, and I do think he stayed on strongly all the way to the line. I think the step up from 3 miles to 3 miles 2.5 would suit him. He's a Cheltenham Festival winner. He won the Pertemps final as a 5-year-old, which is some feat. And then last year in the RSA Chase, he didn't have the run of the race. He made a mistake at the wrong time. He got squeezed out of it a bit at the second last, and he was still only beaten 2 lengths by top of the game on Santini. And he's only he's still a young horse. He's only 7, an improving 7-year-old. I just think he's got an awful lot in his favour. Clandazobo, I don't think he's a Cheltenham horse. I think he's a Kempton horse. I'd worry about Kemboy in that regard as well. That he's never been at his best at Cheltenham. You'd love him at Aintree and Punchestown, but I just worry about him until he's proven at Cheltenham. I just put a question mark over him. And Presenting Percy, just like he's 9 now. He's kind of, you'd think that last year was his chance. He hasn't had the ideal preparation either. He kind of ran on a bit the last day, but I think he'll have to improve again as a 9-year-old to go and win a Gold Cup, and that's not a given. So no, I think Delta Work, 6-1 about Delta Work. What's he, 5-1? Yeah, he's 6-1 in places maybe.
Lovely.
Salmon and Hansett, yeah.
Don McLean knows his stay in chasers. He's got a terrific record in the race. So it's Delta Work for Don McLean. Dave Mullins, what do you like?
I'd love another go on Kemby, even though I've had 3 around Cheltenham and didn't get him into the first 3. But anyway.
What happened last year?
Russell wiped out last year.
It was a funny sort of.
That wasn't Camby's fault.
It was after the fence, wasn't it?
I could see the fence and then I couldn't see the fence, and it wasn't my fault and it wasn't David Russell's fault apparently. So.
You know what I mean?
Like
That happens.
Not to rub salt into the wounds, like it wasn't your fault at all, but it must be of all races to fall at the Gold Cup, the biggest race, when it's right in front of the stands. You must have been just gutted.
Yeah, but sure. I fell at the third last year before, and I was twice as sick over that, and I was only going to be third. So
who was that one?
Total Recall.
Oh yeah.
So he was a certainty for the test days on that run.
Yeah.
But no, I think Kemby's going to come on with every run again this season.
Do you think is there anything about Cheltenham about him?
Oh, no, I don't think so, and I think it's going to suit. Last year we had what's the big scorpion horse, Nicky Henderson's? Might Bite. Native River. Bells Hill. With something else bouncing out as well. There was just too much pace. Kemby was too free in Leopardstown. There was no way he was going to get his own race. I think this year there doesn't look to be any pace there to me anyway. I'd love another go on.
So you're giving Kemby one more chance.
Probably will that.
Yeah, thanks, Mike.
Could you ride him?
I possibly. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'd say your favourite.
We'll keep our fingers crossed for you. Dermot, have you found a solution in the Gold Cup?
Yeah, I'm actually very big on Santini. I'm a huge Santini fan. I thought what the performance that he put up in the RSA last year was ridiculous, considering the really, really bad preparation that he had. He missed a week's work before it. He came into it with an abscess, and he didn't have much work. Like, missed his prep run because of his jabs. The performance that he put up that day was huge. Last time out, his first run of the season, because the first run they admitted that they left him well behind, and he put Bristol de Mai away. Bristol de Mai finished third in that Gold Cup last year, and there's loads more in Santini. He's a horse who's had not that many runs. I mean, he's got less runs in his career than even Champ has. So, like, people are very unforgiving with Santini, considering how much improvement there is still in this horse. I completely agree with Don. Albin Photo should be favourite for this race. There's absolutely no doubt. But Santini is the price he is because he's a bit of a closed book. We don't actually know what's in there. There is a pile of improvement in him. Nicky Henderson said it after the last run, and Santini is one of my more confident picks for the week, fellas.
What do you make of that, Mike?
No chance. I'll actually have a bet with you that if he loses, if any of my two are ahead of him, right, you have to give me €100, and if he's ahead of any of my one, you have to give me €100.
So you want to have 2 horses against my one?
Yeah, one will do. I'll take one. I'll go €4
for €100
that he'll finish ahead of Santini.
Santini's a good leopard.
I don't care. I'll vote it.
You have a wedding to pay for, Dermot.
I do.
Yeah.
She's there, she's not happy.
Oh, fair play to me. Took the bet.
Jesus. Right, there we go. A lovely little match bet. So you're very confident on Santini. Dean, are you a Santini fan?
I think that's where I come down at the end of the race. That's the horse I come down to. I'm not very confident, though. I think you can make a case for anything from Percy upwards in that betting market, which is fair, and that's what you want in the Gold Cup. So I'm not disappointed about that at all. Santini's the one horse that I don't think the screw has been fully turned yet, and there could be any amount more in that animal. Before he got beat at Cheltenham last year, and the year before that even, the yard they were talking about like they had the second coming at home. So now's his time to go and show that. Beating Bristol de Mai probably, there's no way he would have been fully wound up for that. I don't think he'd still beat him. So Santini would be the one I would come down on. Lost in Translation blew me away earlier this season. I thought he would be the one, but you have to go now for give him a disappointing run to King George. If you do that, then the 6 looks a decent price. I thought Delta Work was falling in winning the races over here. So whilst he's gone and done it, Jack was brilliant on him as well the last day. He won't get to ride him now, which is a big shame for him. Not that Mark Walsh, who's going to get the ride, is in any way, a lesser jockey. It's just he hasn't been on Delta Work and done it on him. So I would rather have Jack, so that would put me off a little bit with him. Albin Fountain coming back to win back-to-back Gold Cups, being magic if he can do it. Took Willie ages to win one. Maybe he can. Santini would be my pick. Not sure it's great value at 7-2, but he's the one who could come forward and deliver something special.
9-2 with Bet Victor.
He certainly is. That's better value.
Sam, what do you like at the Gold Cup?
Well, I thought these two were winding me up when they asked to price boost Santini. I like Delta Work on drying ground. Bear in mind this will be one of the end of the week races. Hopefully, if you get some slightly better ground, his record on that seems to be better. I think Clandazobo is a completely forgotten
Thank the
horse.
Lord.
Right,
At least somebody mentioned
He's
him.
had a different preparation this time as well because he went to Ascot, didn't he, beforehand, which was a bit close. I'm not his biggest fan, but 7 to 1.
Cheltenham, doesn't he?
But
Second in
You
the
won't get
Caspian
up in an
Caviar
horse
Gold
box.
Cup.
Yeah, second in the Caspian Caviar Gold Cup. Is
You won't even get up
That'll
with
be
two
good.
box.
Well, hold on a second,
7
right?
to 1's a bit of an insult.
Just on, right? I know I've said this time and time again, but people are saying this horse hates Cheltenham, right? He's ran 5 times at Cheltenham, right? 2 of them were as a juvenile hurdler when he was a big raw horse. He ran.
forgive that.
He was second in juvenile hurdler, and then he ran the Triumph. A Triumph hurdle that worked out spectacularly well.
Yeah, no problem with
He was
Triumph.
second in the Dipper to Whisper, right? Second in the Dipper
He's a
to Whisper.
handicapper.
He won the RSA.
All right, great.
Then he was.
He won the Hennessy.
He didn't
Sorry,
win
not
the
saying
RSA.
it's
Second in
a-
my point, sorry.
Sorry, he was sorry.
Yeah, second.
All right, dear. All right.
Actually, Brayton was only second, and because Mike White went for a...
And he won the Hennessy, and then he was top weight in the Caspian Caviar Gold Cup. He was second. I just thought he was too young of a horse to be carrying top weight, right? He ran the Gold Cup last year, right?
Yep.
Now, just watch the race again, right? He had the perfect position on the inside, down the back straight. He actually went after Mike Bite and Native River too early. Third last was omitted. He was on the inside, then he had to go way out, then come back in, then he made his move too quick. I actually thought that run could be upgraded. He didn't go to Ascot this year in between the King George and the race. And look, I thought he was brilliant in the King George. Maybe he's just a Kempton horse, maybe he is. But Jesus, you're getting a great price to find out that he's not. I think he is the value in the race, Clandazobo. But I obviously, you don't agree. So you're 1, 2, 3 in the Gold Cup. Don McLean.
I'd say Delta Work to beat Album Photo, and something else running on for third.
That's all right. Forecast is fine. Mikey.
Album Photo, Lost in Translation, and Presenting Percy.
David.
By Album Photo and whatever Barry Gardy rides. I'd say it could end up being Chris's Dream or something like that. He'll make a bit of money somewhere else.
Okay, interesting. Dermot, obviously Santini is your one.
Yeah, Santini, Delta Work, and an Album Photo.
Lovely. Sam.
Clandazobo, Delta Work, Album Photo.
Dean.
Santini, Lost in Translation, and Album Photo.
And I'll go Clandazobo, Delta Work, and Presenting Percy. Oh yes, I love that question. Lay of the festival. Don McLean.
Yeah, come to me first.
I'll tell you what, I'll give you time. I'll start. Mine is Altior.
Solo.
Dean.
Solo.
Solo.
Yeah.
Sam.
Santini.
Santini. Dermot.
A Plutard.
A Plutar. David.
Give me a second.
Howard scrambling through sheets here.
I'll go
Mike.
with Honeysuckle if it runs against Penny to do.
Okay. David.
I'll go Altior.
Who'd you? Who?
Altior.
Altior, yeah.
Yeah.
2 votes for Altior. Dave.
Champ.
Champ. There you go. Yes.
Shows the champ actually.
Danny, Mikey, where would you run Allaho if you had the choice?
Where would you run Allaho, lads, if you had the choice? If Willie came to you looking for advice?
I'd probably go soft ground Marsh and good ground RSA. Just don't like the way that Manello and Don said betting twice. He's beautiful to ride and whatever like that, and big sexy devil, but yeah.
Like yourself, Mike.
Sometimes sexy devils don't finish first, you know.
Follow that, Dave.
Limerick, mid-April, 3 mile Novice Chase. I don't fancy him really, to be honest.
The lad that rides him out fancies him out of the way now. He thinks he's improving the whole time. He wasn't fit the first day.
Gord rides him out, no?
And easy games.
Holly,
Holly, a fella, French fella rides him out. Yeah, and he's form with easy games. Another French fella. It's full of French lads on there.
Who is it?
Paddy is over that.
Vincent, Holly's husband, rides him out.
Lovely.
Yeah, so he fancies him. Yeah.
Is that it? Any other questions? No? Yeah.
Just maybe about the Grand National, Borough Saint, how's he going? I think he's been looked prime for it.
Yeah.
Borough Saint, is he prime for the Grand National?
Yeah.
You think so, yeah?
He's been training for it
definitely,
anyway. He's been
100%,
training
yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
100%.
That right,
Got a
Pete?
lovely weight too, I think.
Borough Saint Grand National?
Yeah, he did,
Yeah.
Lip sealed? Yeah. Okay, dokes. One final question, anybody? Yes?
Later week, nap of the week.
Oh, well, we're coming to the
Coming now.
charity bets. Hold your horses. Hold your horses. Here we go. Right. The moment you've all been waiting for, and I have the list. So the panel, it was pretty much the same panel as last year. And there was 1, 2, 3, 1 winning nap last year.
Jeez.
Who would you say it came from?
Mr. David Jennings, yeah.
Defi Desai was the only winning lap last year from myself. So we're going to have to improve on that, Don McLean.
That's disappointing.
Your
can be any price.
€100 courtesy of Bet Victor, and it will be enhanced, won't it, Sam? You're going to enhance these charity bets.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Excellent.
Irish Jockeys Fund is going to.
Irish Injured Jockeys Funds, a really good cause.
Brilliant.
They've got the generosity of them, I'm sure, over the last couple of months. So these are important, lads, very important. Don McLean, your Racing TV's finest. Find us a winner at Cheltenham.
Delta work.
Delta work for Don McLean. He's going big in the Gold Cup. Delta work. What price can we give Don on Delta work, Sam?
At a point, go 6 to 1.
Ah, jeez.
That's
All
It's
right,
for the
go-
Irish Injured Jockeys
We'll
Fund.
go 7s. Go
7
on,
to 1.
seven.
Lovely
7
stuff.
to 1.
Well done.
You're going to get shooed for this.
Mikey Fogarty. Mikey, you're usually good at this now. Is this a point you didn't get it up last year?
I'm going to go just because obviously on a bit of value, but if anyone else trained latest exhibition, he'd be about 2 to 1, and he might give me 8s or that, would he?
Yeah, we'll give you 8s.
Yeah, 8 to 1, latest exhibition.
Latest exhibition for Mikey Fogarty, 8 to 1 in the Albert Bartlett. Dave?
Treble, Tiger Roll, Envoy Allen and Benny the Jew in the Mares.
Tiger Roll, Envoy Allen, and Benny did do in the Mares. Right, I'm going to work this out for you, Sam, right?
Yeah, go on.
So Tiger Roll is enhanced
33.
tonight
It
to
was
6 to
6
4.
to 4.
Envoy Allen is
7 to
evens,
4.
5.5. 14s?
Yeah, go on.
14 to 1. Tiger Roll, Envoy Allen, and Benny.
That works out about 9 to 2.
So, excuse me?
no, it's done now.
Yeah. English was my strong point, not maths.
14 to 1. Is that what I've gotten?
14 to 1, yeah.
For the charity bets.
It's for charity.
Thank you.
Dermot, you're napping the whole entire 2020 Cheltenham Festival.
Manila Indo.
Manila Indo in the RSA. Are you giving yourself one, Sam?
Of course.
Yes.
Right, I'll have
What price Manila Indo?
Oh, 11 to 2 we had earlier, so yeah,
Okay.
let's go
Yeah,
11 to
that's
2.
fair, yeah.
Easy enhance, yeah.
Let's go for 2. I'm going to have a treble on Paisley. Let's chuck Tiger Roll in there at 6 to 4 as well. And let's put in Envoy Allen at 7 to 4. And then I have 25 each way on a horse that I've got a bit of involved.
Why are you getting 2?
What? Because
Why
I
you
split
got
it.
You can split your 100 quid
Is
stake.
that 50 on that?
All right, okay.
I'm getting more.
Then there's a horse I've got a little bit of involvement in called Every Breath You Take. We set up a syndicate 3 years ago. He's turned out to be a bit above average, which is fantastic. We're heading to either the Martin Pipe or might sneak into the Coral Cup. We'll give ourselves 33s on either of those races.
Lovely stuff. Every breath
Great
you take.
name.
And a Paisley Park Tiger Roll, Envoy Allen, treble. Dean Ryan,
Yeah, I'll have Min in Ryanair.
Min in the Ryanair, bit of 5s.
Yeah, go on.
Lovely.
5 to 1, Min in the Ryanair
A big fight here.
Chase. And I'll go for Aramax in the Boodles Juvenile Hurdle. What price you give me Aramax?
What is he, 5s
Fives
at the
now.
moment?
5s.
Oh, we'll go 7s.
7 to 1 Aramax in the Boodles. So there you go. Delta work for Don McLean. Latest exhibition for Mikey Fogarty. A Tiger Roll, Envoy Allen. Benny to do treble for David Mullins. It's Manila Indo for Dermot Nolan. It's a Paisley Park Tiger Roll, Envoy Allen treble, and an each way bet on every breath you take at 33 to 1 for Sam Boswell. And it is Min in the Ryanair for Dean Ryan and Aramax in the Boodles for myself.